Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mario Kart Central. Welcome to Primetime. Welcome to Division 1 Finals. My name's Nathaniel. I'm joined by Rookie. Rookie, how you doing, mate?
Doing okay. Ready for take two. Hopefully connectivity goes better this time, but nonetheless, still quite excited to see how this one plays out. Should still have a lot of good races ahead of us.
Yeah, for the record, those who weren't here last time, slight technical issues with trying to get the wall going. We were able to have one race played, Warrior Stadium, but we've had to reschedule it to today. So it should be an exciting match all around, though. Definitely, both teams want to go out and give it their all, especially considering it very much seems so from the start of from when we initially saw the war. Bree getting a plus 30 race from the get-go versus Sainsbury's. So
yeah, it's weird. It's almost like starting like like you have like those bets and all that. It's like, oh, this team's favored by a touchdown. It's like, well, this is like kind of like, oh, they actually just get like their touchdown to start the game, right? And we're playing it out as normal. It's almost like there's a little bit of like a, favored by this amount of points. Is Bree favored by 30? Well, they're getting the 30-point head start today. That said, it's not entirely 1-to-1 because Wario Stadium, a great first place track, is off the board. And on top of that, since this is MKU playoffs, with the recent rules that both teams agreed to, no repicks across any game, so Wario Stadium we will not be seeing today. The other 95 are on the board, though.
Definitely a lot to work with the other 95s. A lot of tracks having similar properties to Warrior Stadium, so I'm sure Bree and Sainsbury's will be able to manage just for the fact that they know the track roster very well. But looking at lineups, starting off with Bree, LMDS, Scartax, Starlo, Thomas, Vela, and Zero. It's pretty much what we've seen the entire season from Bree. Very strong. All players swinging from the gate. Starlo, defo eye to watch on Vela as well. Both have been masters in previous season of the 150cc lounge. So
I believe there's no changes from this from the last weekend also. So I'm curious if Sainsbury's is making any change. I know sometimes not everybody's available from before, but what I'm seeing right now, it's looking relatively similar, if not identical.
Pretty much the exact same.
I know that C's and Ryan were having connectivity issues, as mentioned, unable to join rooms. Lee tried joining. Hopefully no issues with room joining today, but I think we're going to get started soonish. It looks like the lineup should be the same, so good that we can kind of replicate what was supposed to happen the first go-around, but here we go, playoffs. Sure. Both teams making great runs this season. Sainsbury's from the quarterfinal round, Bree being that top seed, taking care of WF in the semifinal. One match, one champion, season 26. Let's do it. So I'm hearing also, apparently, that Casper might actually be playing, despite not being on the lineup card right now. I pretty much immediately got a ping after I said it the last time. So yeah, Casper might be on the team right now, I believe, for Triss, if I'm not mistaken. I think I remember hearing something about it earlier, but not entirely certain on it, but we'll see if both, or well, which one is in, I suppose, but I do think it will be Triss.
I mean, even still, though, if it isn't Triss, Casper's a very strong player in his own regards, of course. Very good across both the main competitive games at the moment, Mario Kart Wii, and, of course, this game. Been able to reach various heights in both games, so Defo has the skill set to step in if Triss isn't able to play this first match.
I'd say that Casper's definitely an early favorite to be one of the best players at the new Mario Kart game that we're expecting to come at some point in the next year or so. I mean, again, being great at 2 kind of displays that skill set that you're really capable of handling anything. And I guess that's like kind of the fun thing about Division 1. It's like the substitutes and like, losing like a player, it's like not actually always like the end of the world in a sense, because these teams both just have riches after riches when it comes to their rosters. You
Just
lose one player.
Powerhouses, yeah.
Yeah, you lose one player for like 1 week, and you have like an all-pro player ready for the next one and all that. I mean, we talked about Lee almost playing in the last match. Also, Triss, another really strong player. I mean, sorry for Bree's been one of those players that is just completely dominant every time he plays. And again, they had Reese in previous seasons, who's now actually on Sainsbury's. So, a lot of really good talent, regardless of who's going to be in the room.
For sure.
Always interesting to see how things change over the seasons and all of that. I think it was Zawo, he said.
Yeah.
Believe that this might be a first finals appearance. I'm not entirely certain on that, unless I'm misremembering from last season. But
I couldn't tell you the
players.
Couldn't tell you the fine details, but what is it? Seeing players being able to break through, given opportunities to join teams with already a very established history is always very nice to see, given the opportunity as well to play in an event such as D1 Finals, probably the biggest event in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, especially online. So
I mean, it's kind of interesting also. I mean, that's kind of how, I mean, you were talking about Starlo being, you know, perhaps one of the best players in the game, one of Bree's stars, but that's kind of how his career got started too. Starting off on World Friend during their, you know, dynasty run back in the middle of the game's life from Season 8 to Season 13. I think he was on the second team for practically that entire time. And, like, you know, they had, like, one of the biggest dynasties going at that point. And they weren't even using Starlo, despite, you know, him being on, you know, the payroll and all of that. But, interesting now with Starlo in position with Bree right here. They are going for title number 6 to actually match World Friends' total amount that they won in their dynasty. So, getting started now. Will they be able to do it? Will they be able to even the score? We'll see right here because, you know, MKU chapter is getting written. You know, it's almost closed now. So, these are the final moments to really kind of push to be, you know, the overall champion of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But, you know, Sainsbury's definitely not looking to make it any easier on them than they've had it recently, winning the last 4. So, will they be able to 5-feet? We're about to find out, but they have a 30-point lead, as mentioned already, going from attempt number 1.
Yeah, for sure. Strong tracks, both base game from the start, TikTok Clock and N64 Rainbow Road. Looking like we're starting off with TikTok Clock. Bree, pretty much the same as last time, just able to start off with a good runner with the likes of top 4, top 5 positions. So, going to be a case of just seeing who's able to break away immediately, whether Bree is able to hold on to the top spots, whether the Sainsbury's players are able to break into the front, or whether Bree are just gonna go swinging again as they did last time and just break away with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth noting also, like, I feel like track picks, as far as it goes for Bree, it's like they're kind of ready to adapt to anything. Sainsbury's like, we need to, like, find, like, that, you know, that rhythm of track picks so we can, you know, kind of get some momentum and all of that. But if you're Bree, it's like, oh, it's nice if we get it, but, you know, we've been here before. You have that level of experience either way, so them getting 2 picks to start off, that's going to be big.
No, for sure. I think, as you said, their ability just to adapt to anything and everything is really nice.
Second to none, I would say.
Team. Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely a nice skill to be able to just go in, expect nothing, and just be able to adapt to whatever situations get thrown at you. So
looks like a pretty split path so far. I believe that is Valor in first right now. Looks like a 2-3 for Sainsbury's, though, with, I believe, Liam and Cinda up there in 4 through 10, just incredibly close right now. Both of them likely going for shock right now, but we'll see. But Shrooms only for season is going to be a little bit dangerous for them. But actually, Liam is back here, so I believe that's probably Ryan up front. My mistake.
Yeah, bottom 4 split at the moment. So shock can go to either team at the moment. Season's holding
yellow back there.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was going to fall off for a second right now. It looks like
same.
Yeah, just a star. Blue is out right now. Looks like Ryan has kind of taken over first. Looks like there's a lot of Sainsbury's up there, depending on the white Yoshi, but I believe that is a common character they like to use. He's going to have to make sure he stays on the track right here. Ryan is going to take that blue right now, but Valor's still up there. Not in first, though. But looks like they might be fine.
It's a little interesting.
Back.
With just 9, 10, 11 Sainsbury's going into this final corner, but Bree confirmed to at least get last place.
Is the white Yoshi? No, it is Thomas. So I know Liam was on it also. That's kind of the confusing part of the early races, but we'll have to see if there's a switch up here.
I mean, even still, 3 through 5 for Sainsbury's, despite Bree getting the top 2, it's a nice little cushion, allows them to go into a wider variety of tracks. The bottom 2 can definitely get off to a bagging start as well, as we do see Sainsbury's picking them all.
You're not going to see Waluigi this race, I believe. Reese really going back to the semifinal round. It's like, hey, if we're going to pick this track, I'm going to go Waluigi, regardless of what the other team picks. And made it work on Music Park in the semifinals, I remember. Surprisingly, I would say, with that build, also being on a bike. But not sure it's always going to result in the best situations, and they haven't been getting the picks when they've wanted it. But they will get on the board of Coconut Mall, and I mean, this is what you're talking about, right? You have options in the middle of the pack now.
For sure. Just getting shrooms very early on a lot of tracks and very nice. The early shortcuts just allow you to take advantage of the fact that you have more coins than the people starting in top 2, as for every 2 positions you gain an extra coin when starting the race. So also see the likes of Season and Reese just thrive in the back. 5 coins, the potential to pull a shroom. Unfortunate Season not able to get a box. Probably just means he's gonna
tough.
Coin up and bag, but seems that a lot of his teammates were able to just get boxes, take the first early cut, and try and push into those front spots.
Yeah, it looks like Ryan actually was the one that came out up in first on lap 1. Looks like Casper shielding right behind him, the Peachette player. Of course, Liam and Thomas going to have to keep a watch on them because both of them are using white Yoshi. I believe it's Thomas who's up front right now, and Reese also a white Birdo. So it looks like the track pick is going to work out for Sainsbury's on lap 1, and looks like 3 of Bree are back here right now. And I know when thinking about the strategy in this match, Bree is that team that's always really comfortable running 5 players up front. But, you know, sometimes to beat them, or especially if you're down 40, you have to just get that big race and just be okay with what happens. But it looks like Casper is going to be dropping back now.
Yeah, and Shotgun going back to 50-50 for either team. So
yeah, and it might be because they actually might need it. I mean, LMDS is now up front also. We've seen Liam kind of toward the back also. I want to believe that's Thomas in second right now. And, you know, Thomas is one of those players that can just play anywhere, but it looks like regardless if it's him or not, Liam's up in third or second. Now the white Yoshi and a star, and looks like if a team needs shock, Casper's going back for it, but not using it at all.
For sure. Season taking the bill extension. Demo going to be prove fruitful as he is able to just go straight to the glider, get the motion glider off.
Where Liam is really important actually, because this is a top 5 if it's not Liam in second for Bree right now. I know we passed the white Yoshi. I could not quite see. It is Thomas up there, and that's going to be a top 4 for Bree, and it is just piling on quickly.
Shock was practically needed for any chance of Sainsbury's winning that race. They were just able to get top 2 and thrive, and then were just able to pick off the other Sainsbury's members one by one from the looks of it.
This is what's so difficult about facing Bree, I would say. Is like, you can win up front on lap 1. The track can play out and give you the early advantage, but oftentimes, like, they will just land that hit that feels impossible. Maybe there's like a little bit of a sense of pressure to it as well. But they get that hit, the race is just flipped. They didn't need shock to do it. I mean, that's how you're the best in the game right there, is being able to flip races entirely on your own merit, not leaving it up to chance by any stretch of the imagination. And being able to flip those races often make the difference right now. And again, 68 points is a pretty imposing lead, I would say. So unless this kind of gets flipped like immediately, this is going to be a very dangerous game that Sainsbury's is playing early on.
Especially considering we're going to a track that a lot of Sainsbury's players, I at least know are strong at, Wildwoods. I think Bree definitely understanding their opponent's strengths, and due to the fact that there's no repicks, just trying to get all their strong picks off the board if Sainsbury's are to come back into this match, get some of the top 3, top 4 races that Bree have been getting so far.
Well, Bree is also just very capable on like practically every track on the game. I would say also, I would say that they have, you know, quote, one of the deeper bags in the community, if that makes sense. They can play anywhere really, and that has a lot of value because when you get up, you know, 70 points early, you can kind of just start teeing off on the most, you know, comforting tracks for your opponents, knowing that you also have a little bit of a strength on those tracks as well. They aren't really afraid, right? A lot of teams in this community, they might just be like, oh, this is their track. I don't want to play under like any means necessary. We could blow this lead if this gets picked. And ooh, I'm not sure if that horn was for the best right there, and Scar getting them also. And that's going to be top 2 for Bree right now, 3 through 5 for Stainsbury's. But again,
Ryan put in work with the boomerang though.
Yeah, they got to make this race count. You can't let Bree continue to get comfortable if you want to have any shot at this. Third throw boomerang will be interesting. Looks like it is just 2-3 now for Sainsbury's. Yeah. Casper being taken out right here. I mean, the last throw Rang could do something if it's still in play, but gonna need a good shot at it. And oh, well, the horn is gonna help Season right there as well. Top 2 is isolated Casper, taking a hit right there for Season, but not looking great for them right now.
Trail. No, but losing the trail means he does get hit by the right. It just looks to be a bunch of Bree up here again.
Second. They're 2 through 4, I think, now, actually. The blue was likely being held. No toss pass to Casper at the end there. Season off the track. It's going to be bottom 2 for the black Yoshis, and looks like just second. 5th, yeah. Another great race for Bree, and I'd not be surprised if we start seeing a lot of Sainsbury-friendly tracks continue to come off the board.
No, for sure.
There's a pivot already. There's a pivot in strategy already. I don't know what to say.
Up 84 in the first GP is a very dominant lead. Like, Bree, who, despite Sainsbury's best efforts in staying in the front, Ryan doing a phenomenal job on Wildwoods, they're just able to pick off one by one who's in the top spots, whether it be through Sainsbury's own mistakes or whether just through being able to calculate the right item plays. So
I will say
very well to hold this.
The track board as it speaks right now, I know there's a lot of motivation on both sides to, you know, just want to play the best tracks of the other teams. And going into the match, it seems like both teams are, you know, they're confident with what they have. But after a few seasons now, I do wonder, like, is this really the... Oh, it looks like actually DC the last race, unfortunate for him. I want to say that it might not be the best for, you know, Division 1 play right now. I don't know if it's just because Bree has just been so strong in their finals appearances that they're just able to consistently do that, and, you know, which case it's hats off to them. They're seemingly consistently able to just control the board at the end of match 1s, even in GP2 sometimes. They get those strong starts, but is it really the type of match we want to watch, per se, if, you know, we're just picking what we don't necessarily think is best for us now, but best for us later? I mean, the strategy makes sense in my opinion. I completely agree with it, but I do wonder if it is the ideal format, I suppose, going into the next game and all that too.
I genuinely just wonder whether it's a case of Sainsbury's just understanding that, yeah, they are going to be down a game, but will be able to adapt to the pressure of the scenario of D1 finals. As playing in these matches, especially anticipating playing 3 wars in a row, definitely takes a toll on the mental, especially with situations like that with Season getting back through his triple greens. So
yeah, right now this is a top 4 break, and Shock is in play. Reese dodges. Don't know if it's I mean, is a second one possible? It could be. I don't know for sure. One dodge is little, but We'll see. I mean, it's definitely going to stir the pot up front, that's for sure.
Mhm.
Have an awkward line there, but good improv from Season right there. Red could hit, yeah. I think Reese is likely going to dodge.
Blue also coming out.
I'm-
Sainsbury's just trying to dismantle the tops at the
Bree's in
moment.
a pretty good spot still, all things considered. I know first is, held by Sainsbury's right now, but not a ton of support. It looks like maybe Reese, actually no, that wasn't Reese, that was Ryan, got hit out. So it is Bree in first right now again. Another white Yoshi getting hit right there, going for a last-second shock even. Just assuming the race is probably over for Season. I mean,
Hail Mary not gonna work though.
it's two high spots for Sainsbury's, but I don't know if it was a ton else. Okay, they got third in there. It was Liam this time. But again, I mean, you're surviving on Bone Dry Dunes, but I'm not sure how much survival necessarily matters in this case, right? If you're just going tracks from the opponent's, arsenal, it kind of feels like waving the white flag in some ways and just, saying we're playing for match 2. But
Maybe a case of them just trying, definitely, but maybe just a case of them trying to just pick their opponent's tracks, understanding, okay, we can burn these for later, but if we're able to get a good race on it, maybe we're able to switch up our strategy to where we can try and chip down at this deficit. As 7 races is a lot can happen in 7 races. We've seen major upsets before in final scenarios.
Well, I guess worst case scenario too is like you can see the ball go in the hoop sometimes also if you get some winning races at the end of the matches. So it's not like it's like completely not worth the time and all that, but it's almost funny in a sense how this is happening. It's like if both teams are picking the other team's track with like 2 GPs left in the war, right? It's kind of like you're playing the same war that would ordinarily be in a close match anyway. It's just like the wrong team is picking the tracks. But I guess it would just be entirely one team's track arsenal if Bree was trying, everything to win this one match and not just thinking ahead.
No, for sure. Move to highway.
Some really good drafts actually. Want to make note of that going left of the car right there. I don't know if it's the most common thing to see.
No, but able to make it work. Just hopefully able to get an item soon at an upcoming box. But looks to be Sainsbury's top 2 at the moment. So
yeah, Reese being right there is really important in case the coin was pulled. But I thought it wasn't going to be that for a second. But Season gonna get pretty good opportunity to run it up front. And this again is where the strategy element of these best of 3 starts coming into question, right? If like they can get a good race, Blue's coming. I mean, he should be able to tank this. Whether he hits a car or like lands on a boost pad, trying to get out of the way there. Kind of an awkward spot. Good wall bump actually.
I mean, Sainsbury's still able to hold the top 2. We can only assume the shock being used by Bree to try and get some sort of front presence, as it looked to be only them dodging.
I'm not
in the
sure.
back.
I mean, it could have been a Bree call or a Sainsbury's call onto the boost panels. It's hard to say for certain, but
Maybe, but
right
you did
now-
instinctively cancel the blue as well, if they were to call that shot.
it's possible. I know they're not always like the most concerned with the blue, especially on tracks like Moonview. Oh, watch out. It looks like one of them almost was going wide and Season tried to follow, but I mean, it looks like a fine race for Sainsbury's right now. It's holding down first, but Bree's got like enough solid spots that this isn't going to be too damaging for them, especially at this point in the match. So,
No, absolutely.
unless something major happens, a lot of them are back here actually. But it looks like they're actually going to. I think they're going to steal first up front, regardless, though. So, might not even be losing.
They're getting the top spots.
Yeah, it's the top 3 right there. I think
Spoken into existence, pretty much.
Yeah.
Top 3 being huge.
That's the thing about Bree though. It's like even in the races that they aren't controlling the front, they still find a way. There's something about playing them where it's like opponents throw. I mean they throw the items up, and against a lot of teams, like you don't feel like that threatened, right? But when you're facing off against them, it's like everything feels like it has to be done like 5% better. And then like you get slightly off your line, or maybe there's like a blue that you throw that works in like a lot of matches. I mean, that might have been a Sainsbury's blue. I don't know for certain. It definitely could not be. But that's like a situation where if you get a blue, it's like you might want to throw it a roll for shock, and this is a pretty friendly track for, getting rid of it with minimal damage with all the boost panels, but you might get away with that against one team, but then against Bree, it's like, oh, they're still right behind you guys after the blue, and they're within striking range, and maybe they throw a boomerang into a bomb car, or you're trying to avoid something and hit a wall. There's just so much that you have to overcome just to get a single winning race.
They're just able to capitalize on every opportunity, regardless whether it is good or bad for Sainsbury's. They're able just to adapt the storyline and make it fit to their own, pretty much just negating anything that Sainsbury's is able to do, as we do see Bree up 104 points after the
this is an insane showing. I mean, I've said multiple times over, like, I don't know about this. I know it's like falling a niche and all that, but it's like, I think that Sainsbury's is one of the most talented teams like this community has really ever seen. Like when it comes to like the pool talent and all that. Mm-hmm. Bree is making work of them right now, and they're making it look easy. And like I want to emphasize, it's like this is still an achievement in my opinion. This is not an easy feat, but like it's almost like a victim of their own success, right? Where it's like, people might say like, oh yeah, I mean they weren't really challenged, and it's like, is it because the level of challenge wasn't super high, or is it because they were actually just that strong? So exactly. That is the question there. I mean, at this point, holding the blue, like, you have to do it, but there's just so many of them back there, it's hard to envision a good race. I think there's only 2 of them up front right now, including first place, and they might just be redded out at the end. That's the thing.
It depends on whether they're able to hold onto the top 2, whether second place is able just to rotate through the defense items and pray that third just doesn't pull what they need to take them out.
That margin felt like it was getting small, and I saw the Birdo spin out in first, but should be holding on to it still. I think that was Ryan up in first, and if Liam back here, not a lot else, I want to say. It's a 2 through 6 for Bree. I mean, hey, first place. It's something, right? But
it's something, but even still, it's a winning race for Bree.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Bree's dropped a race up to this point.
They haven't. The lowest
race they dropped
what is it? They've not dropped a race yet. The smallest win they've got is a 6, but pretty much everything has been double digits, if not high double digits so far. So
yeah. Track board for, again, I emphasize the second GP, races 5 to 8. Just picking the other team's specialties. Senda switching it up with Twisted Mansion, LMDS switching it up with Daisy Circuit, Mary Mountain just comes in. But Skyguard and Pinball, I mean, is this what the track board's supposed to be? I don't know. Now I know Sainsbury's actually hasn't been playing Pinball as much as a lot of the players did from their time in HG. They have, been confident that they have a lot more courses that they can go to, I would say. Mm-hmm. So I would say that this is like less necessary for them than it has been for some of their players in prior seasons. But again, still not a great course to have off the board, and Bree certainly going to be happy to not deal with it in match 2 or 3. So
regardless of whether or not Sainsbury's have been picking it as a late, they do know the team is compromised of a lot of HD members, and Bree, of course, have very rich history with HD, with constantly going up against them, of course. 1 loss in finals to them, I believe, in MKU season 21. So
that in 19 also, but 19 was before the meta switch. 21 was that first season right after, where we started seeing Yoshis and Luigis and Marios appearing on your MKU D1 finals screen. Mm-hmm. But I would say that that season might have been kind of like a who can adapt type of season. Like, we aren't going to see many like them. Maybe season 1 in the next game, but as things have kind of simmered, right? Bree has been that team that is just kind of rose from the old and embraced the new. And I'd say that the meta definitely changed like a ton. Like, everybody drove a lot more straight previously with the Waluigi meta, and definitely needs you definitely need like a lot more, I would say, ability to improvise on the fly right now. Mini turbos are just such a bigger part of the game. It kind of makes the game a little bit laggier in a sense too, and that creates a whole new understanding of it all. But
also helps
I don't know
with
what to say.
Item awareness as well. We've just been having this going on in the background. It just looks like a Bree domination season, being the only one up there.
I know, it's almost like you believe that this is Bree's track because they picked it, but like they are just running furiously right now. Nothing to lose. Plus 122 running top 5 on a track that you know the opponents like quite a bit. I mean, Sainsbury's, they feel a little bit deflated right now. Shock is going to come in, but it's kind of like, I mean, the shock is kind of an expected thing with so many of them back here, but the question is it going to matter? And it looks like they are infiltrating the front spots a decent amount right here, but they still have some work to do. I mean, first is just gone right now.
Miles ahead. You saw Season and the likes of Thomas and the
right there
in the mid pack, just pulling strong items. 2-3 at least for Sainsbury's, so the Shock was able to at least do a little bit.
This might be a winning race with the bottom 2 for Bree. No, it's not going to be. 1, 4, 5, 6. Well, I mean, again, this is like the argument, right, toward running with 5 people. You have to be incredibly fast to get away with it, and a lot of times it's track dependent also. A track with very little off-road, like Wobbly, Pinball, really no off-road, makes it a little bit easier to get away with that style of play. It'll be interesting to see if they come up with alternative ideas. Maybe they try to pick some more tracks that you can bag on, because, I mean, Breeze is not letting them win up front right now. That's how you win wars. I mean, you're not going to win this way unless you're able to just change, you know, on the fly, right? If you're able to get some momentum and keep it, maybe. But it's hard to imagine that happening in a sense right now. I mean, you have Reese and Ryan both going Mushroom Gorge right now, which is a track that, historically speaking, Bree has not wanted to play. Again, in the past, Bree's, you know, kind of been a team that has a lot of biking players. Right now, LMDS is what their biker, but this is like one of those rare series where they just have more, or less, I should say, bikers than the other team. So the matchup does favor them in that regard. And the interesting part about this pick is, you know, I'm sure there might be other, you know, bike players that could play for them with Mushroom Gorge off the board in future matches. I don't think if they're going to sub or anything, it's not like they need to with how things are going right now.
Absolutely.
But, it's kind of funny to think of the strategy element with it all.
I feel just as the booster course pass has gone along, Mushroom Gorge, despite it not being the greatest for inwards, I think it's kind of fine to get off the boards, admittedly, if you do have the bikers, because I think the biggest threat, honestly, for the Yoshi bike players is DK Mountain at this point. I think that, what is it, just speaking to inward players that I know, they know that Mushroom Gorge, despite not being able to get super bounces, it feels a little more tame just due to the fact that a lot of the heavy driving elements of DK Mountain do mess with the inward bike players.
Especially at the end of the track, too.
Which is where things get more crucial as well, as that's usually where races can get decided, just depending on item usage.
I would say that Mushroom Gorge is, like, it's kind of a weird track to have in the game, right? Like, it almost exists as like a hard counter and all that, but I feel like in some context it might be overpicked. I'd say in Lounge. I feel like in Wars it should probably be more picked than in Lounge, I would say, depending on certain matchups and all that. Second shot comes in. This one looks like a Sainsbury's one. The first one definitely more favoring towards Bree, but Zewo also dodging up there also. I mean, this might... Oh, that is a bad pull right there.
Yeah,
I guess some use being made of it. I think that's the winning race for Sainsbury's, actually.
And before you spoke it into existence.
Yeah.
And you have.
Well, their bike players got 10-12, so, I mean, good for them. That's off the board, but the rest of the team finding the top spots right there, so, hey, see the ball go in the hoop. It was a double shock race on a track that they otherwise wouldn't really pick very much, but it is something. I mean, at this point, like, this war is over. I think they did enough to, kind of push off elimination, that race, getting it back under 120 again. But, I mean, mathematically speaking, like, it's not going to happen. Unless, like, we're, like, in a 1 in a trillion, like, universe right now.
Not with how Bree's performing.
It'd be kind of crazy if we were in the 1 in a trillion universe. Like, all the possibilities in this world, right? And, like, the crazy RNG to happen is just, like, this one Mario Kart match. Not gonna happen,
sure.
No. If you're Sainsbury's right now, I guess continue to get more tracks that you don't want to play off the board. Hopefully win a few more races and reset the mental going into match 2, because, I mean, it doesn't feel here right now. I know it's easy to just, like, look at the score and say that, but, I mean, there is something to say about, just the match being delayed, like a week. You have a good week of practice, right? Then things kind of get off schedule and all that, so. I mean, this is still a good opportunity, though, right?
Oh, for sure.
Worst case scenario, finals experience, so. Still a lot to play for, in my opinion, but definitely going to have to forget that this whole map 1 happened once the second one gets started.
No, for sure. Something at least needs to change with the mental of Sainsbury's at the moment. Hopefully they're just not feeling too short of defeat by this, otherwise it pretty much seems like Bree has the entire set in a chokehold.
I mean, it's stuff like that, right? It's like, I know, like, there's like a shroom boost there and all that, but it almost feels like silly at times, right? I mean, I'm certain that, the players are still, focused and all that kind of stuff and doing their best and all that, but admittedly speaking, it's like, there are days where you're better and worse than others. Sometimes you can flip the switch in the middle of the match, but sometimes it is more difficult or complicated than that. We'll see going to match 2, though.
Switch. Maybe the slight glimpse of hope with that shock season being used, allowing to shock blue Bree, getting a couple more of them in the back as...
It'd be a good race for them, actually. I mean, Season's going to be in a really good spot here. It was nice patience to wait a little bit on the bill and make sure you don't hit Casper, but, I mean, they have a lot of people up here right now.
Even still, it's a few more people in the back from Sainsbury's as well. I saw Liam getting past that. You wouldn't really want
Casper
to see...
in the bill also, so... I mean, should be under 100 now. I mean, that would be a win, I suppose, if they're able to do that at this point, but we'll see.
Maybe just a little momentum shift that they need, just the ability to get winning races, despite it being too late in this match at the moment, as the match is now mathematically impossible. Bree up 100, 2 races left. Even if Sainsbury's were to top 6 both the races, Bree would still win by 20. So
LMDS picking Toad Circuit right now. Just telling Liam, you can't have Toad Circuit next match either. I'm sure they're very concerned about that. It is 100 points on the dot right now. It is kind of weird to, kind of think, oh yeah, big winning race right there, but that's going to be the nail in the coffin, but again, as we mentioned, it wasn't going to end. Toad Circuit gets picked. Speaking of stuff.
The irony of it all.
It will be kind of interesting to see how this race is played, per se. Because, I mean, if this goes well for Sainsbury's, like, I would say up to this point that they've been kind of struggling on the running tracks. Even the ones that they've gotten up front, like, they've not been able to hold it for the full 3 laps. And even in the instances where they had, like on Amsterdam, it was, just like 1 or 2 players. I see a Toad in here.
That's Liam 100%. You can't.
Yeah, because LDS is still on Mario. It is Liam right here.
He was on Waluigi the previous race. So.
Oh no. I don't know if Season was trying to red somebody there, but might have missed the target.
Nah, it's fine.
But, if they win this race, right, it's like, do you consider, like, just changing your track strategy, like, entirely?
It's hard to say. I think just when we're at the end of this war, it's realistically just going to come down to how much they want it going into the second match. Are they going to want to try and fire off with the big races, send all that they have to Bree, because as we were saying earlier, Bree just well and truly experienced in the game, deepest bag when it comes to track picks. So
Well, it's also kind of like funny in a sense because like this shouldn't hypothetically be a benefit, but like when Bree gets these big leads, I feel like they definitely kind of like take it less seriously. I guess they kind of I'm not gonna say like they're not trying or anything, but it's like they definitely loosen up. I feel like they're more susceptible, and the question is figuring out if it's like them actually loosening up, or if like you're just playing better, right? So like if like you get like good rates on Toad Circuit, I mean the question is like, oh, is this just like normal, or is it just more of the same? But then sometimes they just win it anyway. So what do you take away of these last races? Like, do you take away anything at all from them? I guess the other thing that you could talk about is like sometimes like going into a game 2, if you have like a big dominant game 1, like you can like kind of loosen up a little bit too. And then if you drop a game on accident, right? You get into the game 3 situation, then just like sometimes anything can happen. So last race coming up for us, I believe. Is it not?
Yeah, this will be the final race.
Okay, I was before the 12 out of 12 right there. I was like looking at the standing. It's like, oh yeah, we don't have race 1 in the standings right now because of the weird circumstances. Yeah, thank you, Dylan, for showing us race 1, reminding us that that did indeed happen. Still factored into our score right here, and we're at the point where like feels like people like almost like aren't even taking the track picking strategy that seriously anymore. We will get another track. Oh, there's off the board and Daisy Cruiser. I saw they were going Vancouver the last race. DK Jungle is going to be available for match 2. Seemed that Sainsbury's wanted that off the board too. Daisy Circuit I know is a track that they like picking in Sainsbury's, so that one might be there.
I think I'm just getting. Oh my God, Liam switched to it.
Yeah,
what is he
doing? Bike now.
Liam, I love you, but the state of this, man.
Well, like this is the thing, right? Like this is game 1.
No, for sure.
Like this like isn't the end. This is like game 1.
No, it's not the be all and end all, but
I don't like it personally. I know it's fun to be like silly and all that kind of stuff. There is like a degree of like the crazy thing is like he didn't know that Toad Circuit pick was gonna happen. That was like a 1 in 12, and you gotta play Toad on Toad Circuit in the MKU finals. But I mean, there is something to say about just like having the mood lightened and all of that, I guess. But
I think Spirits Up is definitely kind of what Sainsbury's need just to go into the next match, as it has pretty much just been a dominant thrashing from Bree. Pretty much took them until the first race of the final GP Sainsbury's just to even get a winning race on them, able to do mighty amount of damage. So
I mean, call me a traditionalist, I guess, but I'm just not big on the character swap at this stage. I know, like, this match is over and all that, but I like seeing, just like, I feel like Toad reps are not needed right now, I suppose.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, even still, going back to the track picking strategy and whatnot, as we were saying with Bree Season Pulling Shark, we were
like,
saying...
Can I not, like, just hold this in the next match, please?
Let me start out with it. Race 1, please, I beg. What is it? As we were saying, Bree just massive pocketed tracks. It's really just going to be a case of Sainsbury's. How much of their track roster are they going to be willing to burn to get themselves into a match 3? Because trying to do the reverse sweep in situations like this definitely isn't easy. So, yeah, and as we said, Bree, bigger pool of tracks. Sainsbury's probably don't have that much in comparison, but are very knowledgeable on the game to at least be able to play what's handed to them. It's just Bree's able to adapt on the fly better. So,
yeah, I think going into this match too, it is going to be about a mental reset. And I know, like, I'm not like kind of a big proponent of like the mental side of the game. I feel like it's just kind of the expectation that you need to be ready and all that, and that skill does more of the talking usually. Focus. I mean, it all makes sense, but I mean, in this match, right? I mean, that's the hard thing about best of 3s. It's like sometimes you get blown out in a game. It's like there's still something to play for, and you have to like, get over that mental hurdle of just feeling down. And I know these players are able to focus, right? I know they'll be able to do that. It really will be a matter of execution, but sometimes, you just have like a rough match one, right? I mean, I know like Cinda was getting hit like a ton on lap 3 in that war, for instance, but he's got, you got to remember, like, you've had like success against this team before. Now, obviously, it was at an earlier time, but I think the team's still very confident in one another, regardless of what happens. I don't think that you're going to be changing like your opinions of like teammates based on like like a one match, right? We understand that the game's versatile. There's a lot of luck that impacts individual players and performances. You gotta realize like for anybody who's having like a down match, and I'd say that a lot of the roster is feeling it right now. I mean, this stuff like 100-point deficits don't happen on accident. You just gotta stick together, keep confidence in your teammates, and keep confidence in yourself because you know that your teammates are going to have your back regardless. So we'll see if they'll be able to get it together. Still have some tracks on the board right now. It is almost concerning to think about tracks like Tokyo, a track that both these teams like, is on the board right now for Sainsbury's perspective because they are going to be hosting match 2 if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So that will be at Bree's disposal immediately. Additionally speaking, I mean, they still have decent amount of tracks left, and Sainsbury's, I mean, a lot of their tracks got off the board race 1, so we're going to have to dig deep. So, I don't know if you have any other comments on match 1, but...
No, it's, as you said, just a case of sticking with each other, just having the belief in going into match 2 that you're able to get a comeback or are just able to keep the dominant performance going. But I don't think this is the end of the story for Sainsbury's. They definitely do have a lot to, like, probably some things to work on, but definitely will still have the motivation and strive to put on a performance to try and take down Brie to stop the is it 5-peat, 6-peat?
The 5-peat, yes.
There we go, the 5-peat of MKU titles, but no, nothing much from me. I'm excited to see how this match 2 pans out. Match 1, of course, being a bit weird with the tracks, but of course just trying to get off some potentially powerful tracks from both teams' ends on the board. So, not much more to say. We're going to go to a quick break, but we'll be back with match 2 of D1 Finals, Brie versus Sainsbury's. So don't go anywhere. Okay, welcome back, everybody, to Mario Kart Central Primetime, back with Division 1 MKU Finals. Previously, I had just seen Brie take down Sainsbury's in a very strong fashion, 112-point difference between the two teams. As we go into match 2, a lot of tracks off the board for both teams as no repeat picks are allowed across the set. Hopefully a mental refresh for both teams. I'm Nathaniel. I'm joined by Rookie once again.
We are 12 races away from a 5-peat, Nat. 12 races away.
Potentially. Which is crazy to think about. Not many teams have had such dominance when it comes to a deluxe, of course, in the early days. I wasn't around in the community to even witness that, so kind of feel like I'm watching the spectacle of Brie repeat that is fascinating in itself. So,
and I guess what's also interesting to think about is like I know like WF World Friend had the 6-peat from season 8 to 13, but they had no other titles like outside of that window. Brie still had season 17 actually, so they are playing to tie them up in like the total amount of MKU wins right now. Even if it's not for the consecutive record, there's still a lot on the line here, and if they do get this one, they'll have a chance to tie the consecutive record and overtake WF in the total record if they're able to, string it together for one more season. Of course, that's assuming that we will not have Mario Kart 9 randomly dropped on us in like a month or April 2nd. Don't think that's going to happen, but you never know. Anything's possible in April. So
I was gonna say you're Mr. Uncle Jim Tendo with your
yeah,
previous
yeah,
prediction. So
yeah. Uncle Mimic. I'm not sure if he knows anymore. He's out of the building, but he was a real one for a while, predicting Wave 2 for us. If you know, you know.
shout out. The old tweets went crazy.
I see Triss in the lineup right now, so it'll be interesting to see if he can, kind of be the missing piece here. I don't know if, like Casper was like originally going to be, the sixth player. Obviously, he wasn't here for the weekend prior, and I imagine that they probably just had better availability, and that this is just kind of a rescheduling situation. But
I was speaking to what is it? One of the Sainsbury's players, and was just trying to get a gauge of what lineup they were bringing, and they said, "Oh, Triss can't play match 1." So I kind of knew going in with this reschedule that we weren't going to see Triss until match 2. But as you said, maybe the trump card that Sainsbury's need to get their feet off the ground and try and push for the upset, for the reverse sweep, to take home this team's first MKU win. Of course, players in this roster have won several titles before, but as a collective, as a team, seeing them take home the dub.
Yeah, I will say it does kind of suck to not have the lineup that you were preparing for, but 112 points is 112 points. And Casper is a very strong player. I don't think that one player was just going to, kind of twist that match. And if they do come out blazing in game 2 and win that one, I don't think that's necessarily going to be because, Triss was just that much more efficient. I mean, I think it would be because the full team effort would just be better. Mm-hmm. With that said, I mean, that game was a statement game for Bree. That was a "we are not afraid of you" game. That was a "we are going to treat you like anybody else. We're just going to front run. You're not going to do anything. And even when you win, we're still going to find ways." I mean, you've got to be comfortable if they're them right now. But, of course, if you're them, you got to keep your foot on the pedal. Mm-hmm. Don't give them any sign of life because, this isn't a 36-race war. This is a best of 3. Anything can happen in any particular game. I have seen sets before where there was a dominating game 1 win that did not win the set. I remember, I want to say, all the way back in season 10, Euphoria in XI had a 3-game set where XI won a game by 150 or so and still lost a set. I remember there was an HG RK set where HG had a dominating game 1 or 2 win. RK still won that one in game 3 overtime. So don't want to get too comfortable there. Now what I will say is Bree is a team that has also probably won big more than any other team, and I don't think they've been involved in any of those collapses per se up until now, but you never know if it's available to happen. Mm-hmm. And sometimes if you get a little bit too comfortable, that is the route for it happening.
It genuinely does just come down to how cocky are Bree in how much are they able to take off the gas, how comfortable will they feel going into this match, as we did see them lighten up a bit towards the back end on the first set. So
well, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, right? Because confidence is good to a degree. I mean, there's that line between cocky and confidence that a lot of professional athletes or in our case gamers can have, and it's sometimes confidence can actually be intimidating. It gives off an aura to your opponent, right? If you're facing down Michael Jordan one-on-one, I mean, there's something to it. If you're the poor defender that's guarding him, it's can I share a court with this guy, right? And sometimes you just have to see that you're able to win races consistently to mm-hmm. get that confidence. That's why I do think that the end of game 1 was not just, meaningless per se. But it's also a whole different story to do it when the score is close and when the score is already out of hand, right? And that's that notion of Bree's confidence, right? It's like there's always like a feeling of like, okay, we're winning races, but they might not be taking it as seriously as they were earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's that asterisk, right? And I almost want to say that Bree like might take some pleasure in that, right? Of just like giving like the illusion of, false hope just to, kind of stomp down the second game 2 starts immediately. And that can't happen if you're Sainsbury's. You have to immediately come out ready to go and ready to, shut down that narrative by any means possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be interesting just not only just from a mental perspective, but also from a track perspective as well. You were bringing it up towards the end of set 1. Tokyo Blur, a track that both teams are very strong at. Bree going to have the advantage for the spots in which it does benefit for. So it's going to be interesting to see which fronts the teams start going for, whether we're going to see similar track strategy and just let's try and wipe off tracks that we know the other team is good at, which probably not the play for Sainsbury's, definitely more for Bree just trying to set up for if they do go to a game 3.
Well, here's the other thing about it. I can't remember a game 3 that they've had to go to after one of these. I mean, they've had some close game 2s, don't get me wrong, but usually when they're able to take away an opponent's tracks, like, that does have an effect on game 2. Like, we like to just think, like, oh yeah, they're just going to win regardless. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, we never got, you face, like, Gungnir, for instance, and maybe they're not allowed to have Singapore, or maybe they're not allowed to have Chaco Mountain, specialty tracks of theirs. And it's like, oh, well, this makes it quite the uphill battle. So, we'll see. I mean, Paris is also one of those tracks I was thinking they probably got to bring out. I'm assuming Ryan's the host.
Yes, the host,
based on this pick. We'll see. Twisted Mansion, Squeaky Clean Sprint, some tracks that I was kind of expecting to see this match, to be honest. I think both teams actually kind of like Squeaky Clean Sprint a little bit. Probably more towards Sainsbury's right now. I know Twisted Mansion's a pick that Bree likes quite a bit. And again, storyline here is like, not all of them team picking, right? This whole like, are they feeling a little comfortable, right? I mean, they've been in this situation before and never been punished for it, so maybe it's warranted, but we'll see. We're seeing some cracks on, them feeling awfully confident right now, and perhaps it's good for good reason, but game still has to be played. We'll see what happens.
Only time can really tell. As we do go into the first race of set 2 in this best of 3, Paris Promenade, as you did say, Ryan is hosting a track that does definitely benefit the Yoshi bikers just a bit more than the outward drift players. Yeah. I feel like if you're able to get a breakaway on this track, you are kind of just gone, and the only real thing that can keep you is a blue shell.
Cinder got a really good trail right there. That opened the race up immediately for them. They're early top 3 right now, top 3-5. And this is exactly what Ryan's going to need to take off right now. It's just somebody defend them early. And, oh, that trail is going to be very dangerous for him. Reese up here in 5th also. I mean, this is kind of the textbook start if you're Sainsbury's right now. And I know a lot of it comes from the track pick. But, hey, I mean, got to get a race 1 track pick at some point, right? Season's being so annoying right now. He's creating so much space, too. I mean, you almost just want to take the red early if you're them, right? But
exactly, yeah. But
I mean, Ryan's off screen now.
Yeah, practically off screen. He has to get them to break away, though. Get them to have the front spots if Bree were to pull the shock.
Blue's out in like 5th right now.
Oh, we do see the shock.
Probably Bree shock, right? Yeah. Getting into set right now. LMDS presumably dodging of Tanuki Mario. I mean, this top 2's still gone, though. I don't think there's a second shock, most likely. Ooh, good on Season to actually get out of the way in time there. I mean, looking like it could be a kind of neutral race. Hops getting that trail back. Is this bottom 4? Could be.
Something along the lines of that.
Ryan is out of 1st right now. Worth noting.
Season, I think, just admitting his race is over. Maybe trying to go for the second shock.
Yeah, I mean, Star's the best item to have if you're wanting to, kind of maximize your effect on perhaps changing the race, but We'll see. I mean, I think it's Liam in first right now. Shock won't be coming in. Will they be getting top 2? Ryan, I think, is probably going to hold on right now. It's top 2. I don't know if it's going to be a whole lot. 11 for Bree makes me think that Sainsbury's might have won the race, assuming I'm not just making up that Liam was the guy that got first, but it is a top 2 and not a ton else. Looks pretty even to me.
Yeah, bang on even race on the board. It's an interesting start. It kind of makes you feel like the first race was just null and void. All it did was really just get a track pick off the board. Now the team can use, as we do see the scores 41-41.
I don't know if it's an efficient race, right? I mean, if you are their perspective, it's like, you know, that you won the front, you held the front. Bree did pull shock, so you did establish advantage, did do something with it. I mean, that is the kind of start you want, I would say, right?
For sure.
But you like to get more points out of it. So Squeaky Clean Sprint next up. Scar Tax appearing to vote with them, actually. I mean, that's Valor. Wanted to just go Dolphin Shoals there. He's a big fan of that track, I know. Always having the motion controls ready to go. And he's going to get that pick. I don't know if it's the best pick for them, just because Sainsbury's does have a lot of people in the back, but they might be able to draft up and take control of the front pretty early, so who am I to judge, per se?
It's probably what they're trying to anticipate on, is just being able to get the early drafts, break into the top spots, utilize the coin advantage that they have, and just take out the top 2 that Sainsbury's have at the moment.
I think they probably won't have too much trouble doing that.
No, absolutely not. Especially as we see Thomas pull out triple bananas immediately from the first set. Season trying to shroom up. Of course, having the most points in the lobby.
And Liam does survive the front right there. I mean, this is what I'm saying, right? Like, Season's in the back right now, but with the most coins comes, like, an opportunity to get up front. And they hold on to top spots right now. Reese in second. It looks like Triss is back and forth also. I think Reese is actually going to do a little bit of trolling right here, so... I mean, we're already... Yep, Send is up here, too. I mean, we're already seeing some signs of life, so... I mean, that's what you want to see, right? I mean, maybe Triss is, like, that missing component in a sense that they're just mostly comfortable with. I agree with the shroom up right here, of Triss having the horn. So,
for sure.
This is pressure on Bree, I would say, to pull this right now.
Oh, for sure, yeah, as we do see LMDS in the back, probably just trying to go for the shock. We do see
Blue's
the blue.
out. This should get broken by Triss, if I'm not mistaken. This is a top 4 run. Yep, got the blue right there. I mean, it's on Bree to pull it right now. I imagine that Sainsbury's not going to make it really easy to catch up. I mean, even last race with none of them dodging wasn't too bad right here. I think Cinda's actually dropped to kind of get into that, you know, dodging range right now. I mean, if you're Chris, you gotta be careful right now. Like, the only way that this race isn't great outside of shock is if you give up this 3rd place by trying to slow down the pack too much. I mean, I think Liam and Season got a pretty good handle on top 2 right now, so just gotta drive past your Triss.
I was gonna say Triss, I think, just trying to keep up with the top 3 at the moment.
Hit something on the ground.
Doesn't disrupt the top 2 that much, though. Honestly, little mistakes like that can be made just from the huge break that they had.
This is going to be a huge race for Sainsbury's. I mean, they're in dodges in mid-pack right now also. It looks like bottom 2. Cinda is back in 12th now.
They kind of need that, though.
5, maybe? Might be top 3, 5, 7, or 6 even. I mean, that's a... No, it was 9th. Okay.
Even still, though, it's very good.
I got confused with Reese switching combo to Blue Yoshi right there after watching him on a White Birdo all of the last match. I was like, I don't see a White Birdo in the bottom spots there, but... First lead of the day for Sainsbury's, actually, so hopefully this is a sign of a closer match to come for us.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, of course, wanting to anticipate more top spots, Sainsbury's wanting to develop some sort of a lead as they do go up 18 points over Bree at the moment. However, Cinder being in the back is kind of what Sainsbury's need for damage control.
So I see a repick on the board. Accidentally going for Piranha Plant Slide. It looks like Reese might have clicked TikTok clock. I was thinking, like, dang, even Triss, who wasn't here game 1, was ready, but I think they are going to avoid disaster, and Triss is going to actually get the pick.
Dodge the bullet, Matrix style.
This is a big pick, by the way. This is one of those tracks that both teams would like to have, I would say. and the Sainsbury's is getting it for their own. I mean, this is a track that I think they deliberately did not take off the board where they might have in prior seasons, so they want to play it. We'll see what happens, but
for sure.
Surely they're comfortable. I mean, you gotta have a bag, right? And I think they believe they have it. That's why they keep running this format back, even though it's not been great to them in this matchup.
Especially with the biker presence as well.
True.
What a lot of bikers have told me that kind of just having this track, if you're able to run out in first, is a little bit of a cheat code when playing inward. But of course, Bree, able to step up to the occasion, can shut things down if they want to. But it does look to be a top 3. Season just holding onto the front at the moment. Bomb could be deadly depending on how they want to play this.
So one thing I want to point out also is, like, I feel like big difference right here. I mean, this bomb could do massive damage, right? I mean, the big difference so far in what I'm seeing is like in game 1 they couldn't land any hits on Bree. I mean, that was essentially the main issue. Oh, is that red going to target him? I think that was Cinder's red. That's unfortunate for them. Again, this is just another wave. Just like, oh, they have blue though. I don't think he's going to have anything to dodge that either. Looks like he already dropped out. It is going to be leaving Season time. I mean, Season's got triple shrooms up here also. Oh, okay. He's still going to get hit. Interesting first place pull right here, Nat.
I mean, you kind of just take these and just do what you can with them, but you have your teammates behind you. You are able to take the cut. So
that matters so much.
Absolutely, yeah. The only real spanner in the works might be potentially getting ghosted, but honestly, with the break that Season has at the moment, that's another threat.
I think Bree can salvage this still, even without shock. Blue is coming, but if there's no ghost, it won't do anything. I mean, Bree has 3 through 5, maybe 3 through 6. We'll see. LMDS is going for shock. I don't know if they need it right now. I mean, Season's still going to be able to take the cut after this with no ghost, so.
We do see, the Sainsbury's players in the back with them as well, just doing damage control, making sure that...
Cinda needs to get a shroom for them. Oh, actually, that might... Okay, I saw Ryan dodge. It depends if it's Liam or Thomas right now. Oh, is that... No, Starlow's taking the cut. I think... Wait, Liam got him, I think? I'm so confused. I thought I saw Starlow there. It looks like a top 2.
I was going to say, me and you both confused as to what happened there.
I think that's a top 2 for Sainsbury's, actually. Yeah, Liam getting up into second right there. Cinda just dying after shock at the end there. I can't tell who it came from because they were, kind of both evenly back for the most part of that race. But I saw Ryan dodge. Maybe Liam dodged. I saw some of Bree dodge as well, so looks kind of neutral.
They kind of just had to clasp at straws. Maybe Bree trying to call top 2 after Sat were able to recover.
It feels, in my opinion, like it was more likely to be Sainsbury's, actually, considering it came conveniently after Season kind of, had the race on lockdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it was a Bree shock, you would kind of think like maybe it's, going to arrive a little bit earlier to have a chance to knock first out with Starlow. So I want to say it was that. That, and also I think that they probably got Bree after the set also, so none of them could stream up unless they dodged. Could be entirely wrong on that, but that's my intuition, I guess, on it.
Even still, though, just despite it being Bree doing damage control, it's still a possible rate.
That would explain why he got a 12th after LMDS seemed to sacrifice his race there. I don't know if it was pulled by LMDS or if it was just like a bot shock. That'd be really funny, to be honest.
Would be an interesting narrative.
Everybody's just, react. I mean, it doesn't really change, like, the objective there. I mean, it came at the very end, so.
No, absolutely not.
We'll give Season a big shout-out so far. He's been stepping up in this match so far. I know it's a bit hard on him in the first game, but looks a lot more locked in right now, and that's exactly what you want to see if you're a Sainsbury's fan.
Stepping up and rising to the occasion on Twisted Mansion at the moment. LMDS and one, all of Sainsbury's behind.
Great pull. I think you're going to let Triz pass here, and Triz is also, I mean, sometimes you can, like, some players have, like, a little bit of a gravity, right? I'm kind of feeling it right now. I guess it's just, the score being different, right? But, I mean, they are just way more up front than they've been, like, almost the entirety of game 1, and delivering, I think, a hit right there, too. Early shot comes in, no dodge. It's hard to say who it's going to benefit right now, though, because, I mean, there's 2 Bree up front here. So cancellation doesn't, like, kill them by any means, but we'll see who breaks up in front.
Bill.
It's hard to say, you know, Liam and Thomas both been rocking it all set so far.
Mm-hmm.
You almost want... Ooh, I think that's another hit, and again, like, more hits also being dished out from SAINSBURY'S is more than practically all we saw in the first match. It looks like Bree's actually in bottom 3 right now, and there's another one of them back there too. And who's in the bill in third? I mean, that's Cinda right there. This is another really good race for SAINSBURY'S in the making, and this is quite the turnaround from what we've seen so far. Blue's coming again, but, you know, Ghost just took the coin. I imagine he'll probably be fine regardless. I mean, Bree definitely needs shock right now, but
I think it's too late.
I think it's too late. I don't think they have it. It's going to be top 2 at least. It looks like 3, maybe even 4 with Ryan right there. And there's a lot of bottom spots too for Bree. This could be a potential plus 30. No, it is Liam. Again, it was that Liam and Thomas trade, right? If it was Liam who was the one up front, that is a plus 30 race. But 5th and 11th is a big exchange, but regardless, you will take that if you're SAINSBURY'S. And this is kind of the formula for a good match, in my opinion. Bree is really good about making these comebacks. You know, when you're going for the 5, the 5-peat, right? You kind of feel like there's like an inevitability factor about you in a sense. So like, if it was a 46-point lead the other way, you'd kind of start feeling like, maybe this match is just going to be a repeat in the end of the last one, but you kind of feel more of a sense of, oh, could they do it? Or, oh, could they come back now? And kind of excited to see that. I think it makes the set quite a bit more interesting.
I think most definitely, if the first match was Bree telling SAINSBURY'S, we don't fear you, this is SAINSBURY'S telling Bree, we're gonna give you something to fear, we're gonna open up, firing at all blazes, 46 point difference, not being as strong as what Bree had after the first GP, but still, that's a good bit that Bree need to hack down. That's 2 very strong races that Bree need just to flip the script.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of resistance, right? You know, I kind of ask them bow to the king in a sense, and, you know, sometimes, you know, you get subjects that do not want to listen. Regardless, Season going to be taking an early hit right here, but, I mean, he still has teammates up there to kind of carry the load, so might not be the end of the world for him.
Interesting to see who that Wayoshi was that Season did just pass.
I want to say it was probably Thomas. I haven't actually looked, but I'm just like assuming because Liam was, you know, starting at 2nd if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, Liam was in 11th. What am I saying? I don't know who it was. Never mind.
Does look to be
his Thomas up here. It is LMDS in first to start things off right here, but it looks like SAINSBURY'S does have, you know, decent amount of people in the. Actually, maybe not actually. I think yeah, this looks like Bree up front. Yeah. I was getting confused with the blue Yoshis on the 360 turn there. It's going to be probably stop red right here. If you're Season, maybe you just take. I don't know what Reese has.
I think it is just going to be a case of SAINSBURY'S able to pull the jock. You can only assume that is one of them.
I mean, you got to get it here. You got to get it here if you're going for it.
No, absolutely.
One of them is stopping either Reese or Triss. Question is, like, can they get, like, anything up front right now? Liam's in the back. I mean, LMDS just seemingly gone.
No dodges to be had by SAINSBURY'S players either, except for Season just now.
Great jinx. Great jinx. I mean, they'd be using it, like, right now. Ooh.
Not happening, though. Oh, never mind.
I don't know if this does a ton. Might be able to red 1. It looks... Wait. 4? Oh, no, okay. I think it's top 4. Unless 2nd was a sneaky player. Was not. There's the, you know, fight back, though, that we're talking about, right? Why you never feel safe with any lead against this team.
Exactly. Pretty much just outdoing everything that SAINSBURY'S did on Twisted Mansion. The differential does go back to a 22 between the teams.
I mean, this is still, like, a favorable position, right? Comparatively to, like, where they were at before. So, if you're them, you just gotta be like, hey, we're not down 100 after, like, 6 races. Or we actually have the lead, right? So,
For sure.
keep going, right? I'm curious now if Reese is going to stick to the bit. Waluigi swap for Rainbow here. I don't think they've gotten the pick yet when he's done it. I don't know if he's given up on it yet, but might have interest in not switching, considering it's a really good bike track on the board also. He might want to stay with Yoshi in case it's Water Park, and we'll see if he made the switch, but I'm kind of hoping he didn't for his sake, because they're just not getting this Rainbow pick regardless.
Purple
That's like
Man
one of
might be cursing them.
It's one of those tracks that you kind of have to get to. Is the thing, especially if you pick it multiple times. It'd be so sad for them if Bree just picked it once and got it immediately when they were in the bottom.
Yeah.
But I suppose for that to happen, they would have to get a pretty good race again. Obviously, Rainbow being one of those tracks you want to play from the back.
Quite advantage being massive. Item advantage being massive at the start season, just being taken out immediately.
Yeah, and they already had top 3 too, so again, looks like a 4-on-6 up front. This could spiral out of control without a shock if you're Sainsbury's right now. And LMDS starting in first. Looks like there is some hits being delivered on Bree actually, or some cause of slowdown. See Ryan up front right now, it's a threatening player for Bree. This track that he gets a lot of advantage out of also, and a lot of them are actually dying. Starlos, Scartax, Thomas, and Valor are all back here, and the Blues out now. So this is a really good recovery effort on their part. I want to say they're in 2-3-4, and their biker's about to take top 2. And I see that Waluigi on the mini map, and another hit just got delivered. So it seems that they're actually kind of flipping the race right now. And that was what Bree was doing all last war. Whenever they were getting good races, right? It's
It'll just flip the script.
Yeah, just flip the script immediately, and it's why they feel unbeatable sometimes. But I mean, if you're able to do it back to them, then that's a massive ordeal. I don't know where Reese went up front. He is in the mid pack again now, but they still have top 2 presumably, assuming it is Liam in second still.
1-3 still wouldn't be bad for Sainsbury's in the position, considering they do have the bottom spot. Shock just isn't going to be a part of this race.
You definitely want more if you're them, though. Looks like they're only going to be holding on to top 2 maximum, though. Not that top 2 is necessarily bad by any means, but I mean, if you're them, you gotta hope they got it because they didn't get a ton else, and they did. More evenish races. I mean, it's going to be a slight gain, but definitely going to need some more work, right? And this is that kind of situation where you wonder, oh, is Bree just, the guy losing race, or are they just going to pick and steal Rainbow now? I don't think this is where you'd pick it from, just because Sainsbury's got
the Sainsbury's bottom spots.
Yeah, this pick makes a lot of sense for Sainsbury's, though. They're really bringing out the bike tracks right now, especially with Ryan up front. I mean, you don't want to play bike tracks in the situation that they just played them in. Obviously, that was LMDS starting in first, Bree's bike player. And it is kind of interesting.
Also just going first to last in that race because of that blue shell. And Sainsbury's is able to pick him apart one by one. So...
I mean, yeah, you think about it, right? It's he does his job holding on first, but suddenly the opposing team's bikers are 2-3 behind you, and then the blue comes out. It's the disaster scenario for them. So blue definitely did assist them a little bit there. But I mean, that's kind of the danger, right? It's if it's not you, the other team has the bike players now, and big advantage on certain tracks. And not that it's a free run for the bikes, but stuff like that is more likely to happen. And might continue this race too.
Free advantage definitely to be mentioned on a track like Toad's Turnpike, where all this really relies on is just raw, tight lines, no real shortcuts to catch up. So just in case the Ryan is able to hold on to first and create a breakaway.
Ryan's utterly absurd on this track also. Oh, interesting trade right there. Got a little stop horn activity going on. Looks like Reese is in 12th. That's not necessarily the best spot you want for him right now. I think Reese is actually going up front again, letting some of the Teddy players bag, and I agree with it. Ryan isn't first, but it looks like just him. Now this track is one that you still kind of have to bag on. Looks like Season almost saying, yeah, Liam, stay back. Clearly an accident. I think it's just first right now for Sainsbury's. Like, they need shock, but they have 3 back right now, I believe. Zabo's going to have to watch out this set, but he's stuck with Bill, so this might be free triple odds for Sainsbury's right now, and if they're able to pull it, that'd be really great for them. I think they have 3rd also with Reese going back up front. Season's got to get a dodge right now, though. If he can find something here. Nope, golden red. That's making, like, quick red would be great. Scartax holding a ghost in 6 matters a lot, actually, in my opinion, but it's looking like they might not even need it anymore. There it comes. Scartax is in ghost. He is on the way up. Master red right there.
Back.
He's gotta get those out. Make sure that, yeah, Reese is hit out also. It is just Ryan up there, and I think Scartax is gonna have some powerful items. They could definitely intercept this first place. It's gonna be a big storyline to see if Ryan can hold on. He does spin out, but it looks like he's alive still. Is Ryan gonna be able to hold first right here? I don't know if he is. It looks like LMDS might have gotten past, but we'll see. I think it might have just been him in the top 6. He did hold on to first. Wow. It is crazy. It's like you see these spots, it's like, dang, they should go Turnpike right now, but obviously they just picked it, so.
It's damage control to a sense for Sainsbury's, them getting the first, but all the bottoms, that Bree shock.
I'd not be surprised they go Tokyo right now. Oh, they're just going Trainbow, okay. It makes sense. They seem insistent on playing it, I guess. But the track picks have not been nice to them when they've been picking it today, I've noticed, so.
I'm telling you, man, Purple Man is cursing them. Reese, you need to get off them.
Yeah, maybe just, I mean, with MKS, like, I feel like staying on Waluigi might be, like, more warranted, almost. Just because there's a lot of, straight line driving on that track, comparatively. I suppose, in the, you know, the current year, it's not as strong, I guess, but, I don't know if it's a bad strategy, necessarily, as Waluigi. They are not getting their 64 Rainbow Road picks today, it seems.
I do see the Waluigi in play.
I don't know if this is necessarily terrible for Sainsbury's. Obviously, it's not their track pick. It's not a disgusting advantage, but if they're able to, you know, properly bag, and they've been doing a decent job on it. It looked like last race, Bree might have actually just pulled Shaka against triple odds, and Ryan was just able to pull out, you know, a biker's miracle on Turnpike there. But, I mean, that's the other thing about bikes, is just being able to break items on walls at very high rates, especially on a track like Turnpike. I imagine one of those might have been involved in it all.
It's just going to be interesting to see how Bree want to play this track. Is this track...
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt, but, like, again, when I talk, one of the big mistakes, like, with a lot of bagging tracks that lower div teams make, right, is like, oh, like, who's going to bag early? But if you, like, watch this race, there was, like, 11 people going forward, like, for most of lap 1 there. It's,
only one, Bree player just towards the end of lap 1.
Yeah.
Biting with bullet and bagging.
You definitely want to choose based on what happens on lap 1. It is top 2, I think, maybe even top 3 for Sainsbury's right now, but again, it is Mario Kart Stadium. I don't know how many people have actually been in range right now. It seems like we're having a little bit of like an ego showing right now of who can run and do better motion gliders right now. I do think that Sainsbury's might have the advantage if he goes into a star right here. He might be able to run into quite a few of them, actually. It is going to be 1-3 right now, with Reese in first, Thomas in second. And, oh, Thomas getting back. This is a top 3 for... Oh, wait, this horn is going to come out. I don't know.
Absolutely huge.
I think Thomas got hit by that. Scartax has
Had
randomly appeared. I imagine Scar will probably pass season right here.
Hoping this Red was able to do something. 1-3 still for Sainsbury's.
It looks like an even race. Oh, it is not an even race. I saw the 10-12 in the back, but didn't notice Triss kind of sneaking into 5th right there at the end. So, I mean, good stuff to them surviving on another opponent's track, and that they're up going into GP3.
It's not the storyline that we had going in set 1. It seems to be a massive shift, both in just character and mental for Sainsbury's at the moment, as they are up 20 going into the last 4 races of set 2.
Well, they definitely listened to our notes during the intermission, man, because like they seem to have just not let the first match impact them at all. It's almost like, oh, we're just gonna take our damage, you know, just let it happen. And nope, come out better. I was saying, before the previews and, in the semifinals, like, if there's like a team that I feel like can go toe-to-toe with this team, I do feel like the Sainsbury's roster has what it takes, but again, having what it takes and actually executing is a whole different thing. But I am pleased to see a much closer match in Game 2, because I was really thinking there for a second, it's like, is this Game 1 just like going to be a repeat of, like attempts in the past from all these teams trying to put a dent in this team? I was like, I do think that this team is different. I don't know if they are going to be able to necessarily close the gap on Bree, but like, I think they're better than this, right? And they're definitely shown in this game too. Now, if they can close it out, that's going to be a whole different question, but we'll see. I mean, if you're a player like Triss right now, he's like, hey, I haven't lost him in the finals yet. I think he's got a clean 0-0 record against them right now, so sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And you're like, hey, got a war to play. Let's just execute, see what happens. And seems they held on to the front again.
Yeah, exactly. Even still, Triss coming into this war fresh, both teams just fighting for their absolute life at the moment. Bree wanting to at least try and do something with the shots that they're trying to pull doesn't seem fruitful for them at the moment, though, whereas Sainsbury's just doing the role that Bree was, just running and absolutely picking apart Bree one by one.
Well, here's the thing right now. It's like nobody's in shock range. Like, Sainsbury's one lap one here. I mean, they're going to stop now. Ryan or Reese, I think, got hit there, but still up front. I mean, last match, Bree was winning because even when they were losing the front, they were still, almost ego running it out, being like, hey, we're better than you. We're going to get up front. We're going to make the play. We're going to make this impossible right now. But as I keep seeing, Tanuki Marios, and Red Yoshi spinning out on this map right now, they're not getting it easily anymore. I don't know exactly what the change was. I think the whole roster is just playing significantly better right now, but Bree is not really putting heavy resources into bagging right now. And
No.
I mean, there's two of them back here, but like when the other teams just like kind of run, I mean, you expect them to try to have it. I mean, I've seen them bag shamelessly with 3 people before. I mean, they aren't just taking the front for free anymore, and this looks like a lot of Sainsbury's up front again. Shots does come out. I don't know if they're going to be able to get into first here. It looks like Ryan, potentially Reese, is still up in first. Unless there's a red shell at the end. I don't know. I don't know if he got it. It's like Toast Turnpike.
Oh.
It's Toast Turnpike all over again. Did he get it? It's going to be a huge question right here. Sainsbury's had control of that whole race. They still get 2-3, but that is a big late shot coming in for Bree right there. Now, I do feel like that shock might have been delayed a little bit, right? It came at the very end. Perhaps it was like waiting out all the dodge items. They just couldn't hold on to it for any longer. But, I mean, getting that first place was massive. I mean, if that's like a top 2 still, I mean, it's still like another even race, but now we're in a situation where Bree's going to inch just a little bit closer, and that's going to create a little bit more pressure.
I mean, even still, proving the patience just is a virtue for Bree at the moment. The late shocks, the being able to keep Sainsbury's on their toes, only being up 8 on the Sainsbury's POV at the moment, as we do see them struggle for track picks at the moment. Trying to get their heads around what they're gonna pick. Maybe the pressure might be creeping up to Sainsbury's.
Yeah, it's a tough situation for them because like Bree's got like another game, right? Like this isn't do or die for them, but it is for Sainsbury's. I think the track pick was still sound. I don't think they're out of stuff yet. I mean, 2-3. There's like I think Ryan's up front and he's like, oh yeah, I can just drive by somebody. And Singapore, everybody else has solid coins on the team. The back, so like I think the pick makes a lot of sense. They were just going through options. That said, Bree's been looking for this one. Actually, no, it was Reese up front. My mistake. Bree's been going for Fomp Ruins for quite a while now. I don't know if this is like a super common track that they've picked in the past, but they clearly seem to be ready on it.
It's definitely been one that's what is it, rise
Killer miss box there.
as of recent. Yeah, very unfortunate for season. But I don't know, Swamp Ruins, not something you really saw back early on, but I feel like it's made more of a resurgence, if anything. I see a lot of teams now just picking this track.
This is a track that's so underrated that nobody like this track that's so underrated that it almost becomes overrated because like everybody just kind of likes it. I feel like it's like, yo, did you all forget about Swamp Ruins? I mean, this is kind of cool, like as like, you know, like a late game resurgence, right? Like we have so many tracks in this game now that people just forget about stuff. And then it can just become relevant again. Ooh, I don't think Season wanted to build there, to be honest. We saw Blue in play, which is interesting. He's gonna have to watch out for this red in 6th also.
Triple Green's coming out. Oh, Tom is able to put in work. Both
had him in the chamber right now. This is interesting. Liam should be in 2nd right now.
It is Liam in
there
second,
there is a blue in play, and I'm pretty certain both teams. How is Thomas just off? This has been a crazy race with people like just randomly spawning off the course right here. Oh, this is a rough spot for Season right now with the extra red. Seems he's surviving it. Liam is in 1st right now. I mean, there's the blue. Is he gonna stop? I mean, he has room to stop.
Depends on if he pulled something in pocket.
Like, are they gonna throw red? I mean, if there's no shock, this is like actually solid for SAINSBURY'S regardless. Star
at the moment.
In the star. No shock is coming out. Oh, this is interesting. He doesn't know about the triple reds either. He should be hitting him. Bree, okay, they're on the glider right now. I mean, he has his glider speed. Thomas is full speed. He's going to be able to hold on to this. That's 1-3. Don't know how much else Triss coming up at the end there. It's a bottom 2, though, so solid for them, but not going to be that dunk pull away race.
I don't think this was ever going to be the slam dunk race, just due to how the pack was being played. Like,
I mean, you're surviving opponent track picks, right? You had this, you had Twisted Mansion. I mean,
I don't think we're gonna see, what is it, SAINSBURY'S clinch this in the next race. I think this is going down to the wire.
I agree. I think that, and this is the toughest part about winning like a series of Bree, right? It's like you're gonna have to like survive like high pressure situations more like most likely twice. like just to win, right? Like you're gonna have to do it once and you're gonna have to do it again. And you know, like in an even playing field, that's already like a 25% success rate if you have to do it twice in a row without a fail.
For sure.
Sweet clean sprint makes sense. Liam, I believe, is a big fan. Starting in 1st. Very confident driver. It is going to be Excite Bike Arena though. Going a little lounge style here. It's interesting because these are kind of the players from the West that I kind of see like as, you know, I mean, a lot of them are lounge players, so like they're going to be able to handle it. I mean, everybody plays lounge, no way around it. But I don't know if I would define all these guys as like lounge players per se.
No, not really. Even still, I
almost
feel
a change up.
Bree's adapted gameplay on the fly is definitely going to prove well in this track because Excite Bike has many different ramp layout changes. In between races, it changes pretty much every time you play online, so Bree just being able to adapt to whatever's thrown at them will prove to be useful here. It's just going to be a case of whether SAINSBURY'S can hold on.
I feel like it's really easy to lose track of coins on this track, to be honest, because you're so like preoccupied with like the new strats that you're going to have to do every single race. Obviously at the highest level, you're going to be more ready, I would say. Start testing the bomb dropped on him. This is, I believe, top 3, actually. This is actually top 3 break for SAINSBURY'S. I wasn't expecting that. It looks like lap 1 was really close. Saw that orange photo up there.
They going for the shock heavily. Season just has to stay in the back to shock block.
And not going to happen, per se. Shock comes out relatively early right there. We're seeing them creep up into the top. I mean, question is, did anybody else pull it right there? I don't think that's the case. I don't know if it's going to be double shock. They're giving him some trouble up there in 1st right now, throwing the red immediately. I imagine probably a dodge up of shrooms. I mean, Bree has people up front right now. This is just so close, though.
They are still in bottom 2, though.
I know.
Thomas now be occupying bottom 3.
There's 3 Bree members up front. They do kind of control the front, but if one or especially 2 of them just go or get hit, like it is kind of a disaster situation. That said, the disaster's kind of been flipped back on Sainsbury's head right there. They are going to hit Valor out, but that is a top 2 break. I don't know if Valor's going to be able to take cut here, but 3 through 5 maybe.
Just gonna be a case of whether they're able to kill Valor. Probably not. The 3 through 5.
These are bottom spots for Sainsbury, so we're gonna have a very, very tight race. 12. This might be close to tied net. Ooh.
I honestly
Great
want to see how
shock
close it is.
That's a great shock for Bree right there. Might have caught Sainsbury's a little bit too much in the front. I couldn't quite catch if there was a second player outside of Season back there, but
No, it
also
it was just Season in the back. It was pretty much all of Bree.
I mean, that is a situation you expect Bree to pull shock. It is a tie game going into Game 3. If they are able to get this win, Sainsbury's, or if Bree's going to be able to do it and get this 5-peat, we're going to find out on the very next course. Singapore Speedway is the pick. Music Park is the pick from Bree, which is a track I never really thought I'd see them confidently be like picking in this kind of situation, but just goes to show like the bike dynamic here. But you know, Cinda's really strong on that track, but I think it is going to be Singapore Speedway. And
I want to just gauge from you really quick, how much do you think the track pick is going to affect the win in this, or is it just going to be the race?
It's big. I mean, Singapore's a track where lap 1 dictates a ton. It's kind of like Moo Moo Meadows in that regard. I mean, shock can, change the race, but I mean, we saw it on Excite Bike Arena, especially if you're able to pull it early. That's kind of your big chance to get something to happen. That's how Bree flipped it. That's a really good first set for Bree. 3 defense items, no shrooms. That is a green does come out. It looks like it might have landed on Cinder right here. I mean, this was a good pick for Sainsbury's, but this is not the start that you wanted to see from them.
No, they're gonna have to claw their way back.
This is close. There's a Rang in play. It looks like Triss is going down right here. Ryan is up front. Red is maybe skipping. It's 2-3. Reese is up here too. Ryan has a shroom if they're able to get somebody out. Season does land the hit on Starlo. They have a shroom in first. That was a... Oh, actually, I think the shroom might be gone right now. Is it Liam in third? I think it's Thomas. This is really, really close. What's going to happen in the next 10 to 20 seconds might dictate so much, and I don't know if that actually landed on them. I saw Cinda back, though. It looks like they have the top spots.
Season just has to like the shock.
I think this... I don't know. It could have got some of Bree into the second set, but they're also... It looks kind of neutral. And Bree is trapped in 12th. It looks like it might be decently beneficial for Sainsbury's. I mean, that was right before the glider. They have top spots. They had the advantage. They don't have to make any changes right now.
Looks to be
top 3 wins this. Top 3 wins this now and would send this into Game 3. They have everything they need right now to win this race, so long as Cinda is not hit out right here. But even if Cinda lays it back, and I think that's going to be Reese in 4th right now, Nat. I mean, this is going to be shock 2 or bust for Bree.
It doesn't look... What is it? Sainsbury's is back there with them, just preventing the odds of happening. It's pretty much top 3. The shock needs to come now.
They are gone. I mean, last set shock is deadly right here, but they know it, and they're going to be going into dodge arms if they have any right now. Got to call this banana sight.
It's not happening.
Game 3 is inevitable. It's going to be a top 3 for Ryan, Season, and Cinda. Sainsbury's will be pulling out Game 2, and we're going to Game 3. And a 6-7-8 on top of it. What a statement on the last race.
Dominant. Nothing else to say. Bree, bottom 4. That's the race that Sainsbury's needed. That's the statement they needed to make. Bree shaking in their britches most likely after that one.
Well, Nat, here's the thing. You asked me about the impact of track picks and confidence before the race, and what I saw that first set was not necessarily looking great for them. It was 3 trails, didn't see any shrooms, Cinda hit, and a boomerang hitting Triss at the end of the lap. And they still won. Like, that was not the script I was expecting there. I mean, they got an early shock, but that was a cancellation shock. That was like a we are in advantage kind of shock. I mean, I think they got the shock. It might have been Bree. But
no,
it feels like a Sainsbury shock.
Sainsbury's just needed to utilize that, make sure the Bree
he had slim to none odds
I
of
mean,
pulling the shock.
if that was their shock, that was just kind of that's textbook right there. Advantage
Mhm.
is taken. We are not messing around. We have winning spots. Use the shock if you're in that situation. If I mean, in that circumstance, the only real threat to shock is coming last set, and you can just have 3 people ready to dodge that if you're Sainsbury's. If it
Mhm.
was Breeze shock, I don't know what to say. Like, would it be just because like you were afraid that they had it also or something, or I don't know. I mean, it looked like a great neutral shock to me, but again, we don't have the full perspective. But regardless, we're going to game 3. I
You
think
want
it's the
that?
first time that this has happened in quite a few seasons. I'm gonna have to look up the statistics going into this game 3 after our quick break, but definitely a more exciting match in game 2 there. I hate to reserve all the excitement for game 2 after Breeze dominating game 1 showing, but those tie games going into final races really get
It's
the blood pumping.
it's really just going to be a case of whether Sainsbury's can keep their foot on the gas, can keep the pressure up, or whether it's just going to slip away in an instant and we are going to see Brie bounce back and have another dominant showing like match 1 because Sainsbury's put their heart on their sleeve playing that
Yeah.
match. So,
Well,
I'm
we're going to go
sure.
quickly to break, get the excitement revving up for game 3, and we'll see you all in a bit. Don't go anywhere.
This is it. 12 races to decide your Division 1 champion for Mario Kart Universal Season 26. Bree, Sainsbury's both putting their hearts on the line, all coming down to the last 12 tracks. Do or die for both teams. Very exciting match too. I'm Nathaniel. I'm joined with Rookie, as always. I'm still still speechless after that match too. That was such a beautiful Singapore race to finish things off, and Sainsbury's really sending a message to Brie.
Yeah, it might be stop picking the tracks that we want to play on race 2 and stop picking random on race 1 maybe. That's kind of what I was like, insinuating a little bit at the beginning, right? It's like, you get like this sense of comfort and all of a sudden, you're in a game 3 situation and, you never want to be there just in case, even if you feel confident that you're a stronger team, like what if this team just has a hot start or like gets a few shocks or track picks early in the match and suddenly you're like down 28 like at halftime or something. Then it's like, oh crap, we have 6 races to get this right. I mean, when you win as much as Brie, like it might all start to kind of fall together in a sense. I kind of feel like, oh yeah, it's just another day at the office. But we'll just say this: Game 3 is not really even the most familiar territory for them because, I mean, Season 24, Season 25, 2-0 semis, 2-0 finals both times. Did have some Game 3s back in Season 22 and 23, but they were able to clutch those out. So I think the last time they actually dropped a Game 3 in the finals, if I'm not mistaken, would be back in Season 19 against HD, and that was one of their bigger losses, but I don't know if they were at the strength that they are today. So we'll see what this core is able to do. But again, Game 3, anything can happen, including a Trainbow pick that has seemingly been evading Sainsbury's the whole match. And
It's actually happened.
I'm sure they're happy they got. I'm sure they're happy they have it now after they won the match or won the last match regardless. So almost a little bit of an early fortune kind of situation for them.
I think this is just the track they need to get the momentum off the gate, though. This is just a track that really benefits the bottom spots.
I know, they're really going to need it, though, because Bree is strong on this track, and nothing can put momentum to a halt like, like a 64 Rainbow Road stand. So we'll see what happens in that regard, but hey, I mean, you'd take that risk of playing it every time, I think, so.
Kinda have to. It's what the track is about. Who's able to manipulate the bumps? Who's able to?
It's always right here where we find out too, right? Looks like Chris has a red in the mid pack right now. It's hard to see exactly who has what right now. Fireflower and Boomerang is interesting for Season. He's gonna get hit one out. Thomas is up front also. Ryan's up there too. Is he gonna hit the? He does hit the window. It is a trade though, so it is top 3 actually early on for Sainsbury's, and this is kind of what you want. Great rear view use right there.
Way early on, this is the final lap they're going into. This could be a huge start.
I mean, this is what you expect when you pick Trainbow early, and you know, the team kill on Ryan, not necessarily ideal, but definitely warranted. Will they be able to hold on? No blue appears to be in play. Shocks probably would be happening now, and if it is coming, it's too late now. It's a top 3. And Valor getting hit by that back rang also.
Maybe trying to do something.
He landed another one. I think Ryan got 4th. And could this be the start that Sainsbury's needs? They are going to get bottom 2. Top 3-5 though.
That's still a statement.
May have overreacted a little on that second boomerang. I thought I saw it line up, and maybe it still did, and there's like just a shroom or something, but...
I saw Ryan's name tag appear, and I was just like, ain't no way we're about to see top 4 first race.
I mean, yeah, the crazy thing is, like, it almost feels like... Sometimes things just work out in mysterious ways, right? You get into these situations where you're like, man, we just can't buy a Trainbow pick for our lives right now. And then you get it, like, in a Game 3 fresh situation and get a plus 14 lead. And they still have runners, it looks like. Sunshine Airport's coming out, and Bree's kind of taking us back to 2018 with Dry Desert and Cheeseland coming out. I wonder if the strategy's changing for them at all right now, too. But tracks that we don't often see, and it almost makes you wonder, like, what their game plan exactly is. I mean,
maybe just to draw out the match, maybe play the more longer, annoying tracks that do rely on bagging a bit more. Tracks that are quick in theory, but take ages to fill out online just to get in the heads of Sainsbury's.
And, you know, Tokyo Blur still there. That's a track that both teams pick, but, like, the bottom 2, like, makes it, like, kind of annoying for them to even pick that, too. So, it's kind of interesting in that regard as well, but we have Cheeseland in Game 3 of D1 Finals. It's been a while since I think
those wins have been occurred.
Maybe I just don't remember the last season. I don't know, but
I don't know. It feels
this is what the new format does to us.
we all go senile. We're so used to the Wave 5s and the Wave 6 that we completely forget that Cheeseland is a thing.
Yeah. Looks like Season's going to be our bait right here. Only on one perspective today, if you couldn't tell, so we are unfortunately going to be broadcasting just the front-running point of view in Cheeseland. But good news is in the later patches, a lot of character variety. We can still see roughly what's going on in the bottom 4 and understand who's where. I see at least 2 Sainsbury's members back in the bottom 4, 2 with Bree also. And decent, yeah, it's looking like a decent split right here. Some Bree dodging up in 2-3, I believe, though, so I think it was Bree Shock coming out there, and that's going to get rid of Season's horns also, and speak of the devil.
Blue shell right then and there.
Yeah, but guess what?
La Bomba.
That's what. Oh, wait, what? No, okay, never mind, you guys are the goats. I take it back. I thought for sure. It is top 2-4 right now for Bree. They do have a Shroom. Shroom fires pretty good pull here for Season. They're opting to hold it right here. I mean, if you're Season, you just want to muddy this race up. You're probably not going to win by just running this, but if you can land some backfire, that would be kind of ideal. But maybe he knew something that we didn't. It looks like some Sainsbury's dodging right there. I want to say that's Cinda up in 5th, and maybe Reese or Ryan, the other Birdo right here. And that is a shock, too, that they definitely need. Cinda's up in 1st. There's another bomb!
He drops it against the Bree players.
It's a top 3 right now. Liam's up in 2nd. Season's going to be the bait all the way to the very end, but his teammates are in a dominating position right now. It's looking like this is going to be...
Unlock.
This looks like a bottom 2 right now, but it is going to be a salvage for Sainsbury's nonetheless, and maybe even a little bit more. Actually, this might be a bottom 3. I think Triss uses Red Birdo sometimes.
Sometimes.
I believe. Yeah. -2 race, I believe, for them, but I mean, you'll take that, I suppose. Not really the end of the world for them there, but good second shock for Sainsbury's after maybe a scary first one, but perhaps they dodged with it. It's hard to see from the front-running perspective.
I mean, even still, though, with the distance or how long it took for that shock to be used, you can kind of just imagine it was the second one in play. You tend to see Cheeseland races with 2 shocks pulled at 2 separate occasions. So.
Yeah. I am curious to see what the track picking strategy is right now. They're still not entirely picking all together. I don't know if that's necessarily just a bad thing. Maybe they have multiple tracks they're comfortable with. But it seems that Sainsbury's strategy of we can play the 36 track format is kind of paying off right now. Like, they still have front running tracks that they're confident on. We saw them trying to pick this one for Liam earlier. Again, it's that benefit of it not picking it in the earlier matches sometimes. Of course, you want all your picks now because there's no later game, but I mean, there's still Sunshine Airport, Warriors Gold Mine, Vancouver Velocity. I know they have a lot of really, I guess, niche runners in their opinion. Not that they're weird tracks or anything, just lesser played for them. But
even so good to have in the arsenal in situations like this where you are going down to the wire and do need big races on things that don't get played that often.
Yeah, and again, here's our Wave 5 DLC brain rot that you were talking about again.
Absolutely.
It's a good mix that this game has. I mean, this is why MKU format, or why they wanted to experiment with the 36 tracks. I mean, there's just so much variety now, and you know that is the positive spin when you actually have these close matches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, great back from Scar, it looks like.
Even still, having this room to do a little bit of damage, might just want to try and get the boomerang rid from Scar, as it does look to be a lot of Bree up early, like Season being the only one up there, 2-5 I think at the moment.
Great banana drop right there from Bree. And the plant also, oh, that is a devastating hit for him. Season's probably just bagging now, 1 coin. I mean, they already have people back, that's the other issue. Veiler looks to be trolling a little bit. I mean, it's just Triss and one of the bikers up front, Reese, as we can see now. Triple Red's good for getting Veiler out, but we'll see. It is triple odds in the back right now for Sainsbury's, and going wide there for Starro, and almost makes you wonder if Sainsbury's might like potentially have it, or if they think that they might have it already. It's hard to say for sure. I mean, it isn't Liam up front, right? Like, it's clear, right?
It has to be Thomas.
Yeah, it has. Okay, it was Thomas up there in lap 1. Just drew blank. That ghost in 5th does matter. Sainsbury's in 2nd is actually pretty big also. Doc does come in. Reese dodged up front also. Instant. That's 4 dodges.
That's huge.
LMDS is trapping the back. This is going to be a big race.
These last minute calls are going to be detrimental.
He's going to plant Thomas. He might get him off glider. He's going for it. I don't know if he got him. Thomas got that route. He's going to have to watch out, though, for his teammates right there. Now Thomas is fine for now. Ooh.
Ain't going to reach him. Bailey ain't going to reach him, but even still.
Bailey
doesn't gain the spot.
That was a ton of top spot. That was a massive race.
I think Liam gained the next spot.
Liam pulled shock in the back. Here I am questioning if he was in first when he blatantly wasn't. But perhaps having a bigger impact on the final result with the shot. I mean, it had to have been Liam Shock, you would think, unless somebody pulled it behind something. Maybe the old Shock bill, but
a huge 30 points.
This is getting scary for Bree. I mean, this is what we were talking about earlier, and I mean, they still have tracks.
They do still have tracks.
Bree is picking dry desert right now, and I mean, again, like the other team can pull shock on these tracks. We saw it on Cheeseland. It was 1-1, but this is getting like, this is why you have to keep, you know, I'm not saying they didn't, but like you have to have your foot on the pedal, right? Because you never know what's going to happen in these race 3 situations, and sometimes just giving the other team 3 back at a set, like in the middle of lap 2, can have devastating effects. I don't know exactly when that shock was pulled, but they had ample opportunities. They had Bills. There was such a big lead that Season was pulling Ghost in 5th. I mean, it was definitely fortunate, but he was at distance. And next thing you know, there's 4 people dodging on their team, with Triss already up front, knowing that the Dodgers aren't going to hit him. And looks like Season's going to decide to be bait again.
Let's go, running POV on the back end. Woo!
Yeah, we're pretending it's like 2017, not just 2018, where we naively believe that everything was runnable in this game. Take me back, man. Maybe MK9, we'll see.
Oh, Lord. The scenes of that.
MK9's going to be nuts when it comes out. We're going to have no idea what's going on, what formats we want to run. So, you know, good on Season, right? Because God completely decimated the Cheeseland, but we're running it back. Maybe you can get another horn again. Got quite the big lead, though.
Listen, Season being the bait, I kind of just feel like if he does get sent off, God's gonna hesitate in sending him to either heaven or hell, just willing to be the bait.
So it's interesting here. LMDS dodged and second for Bree. That said, it's hard to say which team actually used the shock because often shocks on this track are used solely with the point of resetting the timer so the other team can't use it and carrying a shock to the end of lap 2 when a shock could actually impact things. I am wondering right now, I mean, there are a lot of Sainsbury's in the back, decent amount of Bree up front. I mean, if they weren't to know if there was a second shock, that would be Sainsbury's win condition right now. I would have expected it to be used by now. I mean, there's a ton of them back here. It looks like Cindy got them out, but it's just top 2 for them. They're really far back, it looks like.
I was gonna say, it genuinely does just depend on how much of Bree have the power items do catch up, because Dry Desert is a track infamous for a lot of shortcuts that you can do with golden mushrooms, stars, bills.
There's no way he wins this, right? Like no shot, right?
I think it's just Bree behind him, so unless the miracle pops off.
Oh my God, he got hit again. The reality blue is gonna hit so hard, man. Where's the reality blue? This pack is so close. Sainsbury's is like kind of up front. This Bree's kind of up front. Like this is not necessary. Oh, is he gonna hold on? Wait, that was Cinda, wasn't it?
Oh,
they were holding blue. They were holding blue. I mean, I think it's more. Dude, he wasn't bait. He just ran desert. Wait, why did I see Cinda? What the heck?
I was gonna say that was Bella.
I thought I saw a black Yoshi for some reason.
The adrenaline's gotten to his head.
I don't know. That's silly of me. I apologize, but
no, it's fine. 1-3 though, a slight winning race for Bree, but the 1-3 is still huge. Still very, very good for Sainsbury's.
I mean, here's the thing. That's why you run one person on desert. Like it feels ridiculous, right, most of the time, but there are situations. Like you have to account for everything. There are situations where a neutralist shock is used, and sometimes the second one just suspiciously isn't pulled, and that's the win condition right there.
There's also just situations where it does make sense to hold the blue, whereas in other races you would just throw that at the player in first, just so that way you could have more chances of shock.
Well, they read the situation. They're like, we have to risk holding this blue probably. I mean, Season probably gets like 9th or 10th, maybe even last if they throw that.
No, for sure.
You almost always want to throw the blue on desert, but in situations like that in particular, sometimes that's just like what game knowledge looks like. You just have to recognize when a situation is different.
No, for sure.
Now, here's the thing. I'm starting to kind of worry for Bree a little bit because I don't know if they're just kind of out of tracks that they're confident on, which is almost kind of scary to think about after how they actually burned a lot of Sainsbury's tracks on game 1, but Sainsbury's aren't really flinching without Moonview or Pinball or anything like that. They are just dialing up new ones. And I feel like in a sense, Bree is almost kind of losing the identity in a sense because they won game 1 by being dominant up front. And they're not even picking runners anymore. Their picks this war, Dry Desert, Cheeseland, and Electrodrome. And I know Electrodrome's more of a runner, but I wouldn't really call that the win condition all the time.
I think even still, though, we were commending Bree heavily just for the fact that they would have the deeper pool of tracks.
They were dominant. Well,
they were dominant for sure, but
I didn't necessarily know if I believe that their pool was necessarily deeper, but they were very obviously stronger on the priority picks of this matchup. But
for sure.
This is a top 4 run. This looks like top 5 even. I don't know if this is borderline irresponsible for Sainsbury's. I mean, they should be able to pull stars and stuff in 5th. Oh, that drop is too late, I think.
Yeah, way too late.
That red's gonna take care of him. What the? Okay, Valor is just immune, I suppose.
He's put on the lag switch, boys. Someone check him out.
Yeah, Triss is just trying to get defense. This is smart on Season to go left path. The question is shock going to happen right now? If it does, it's good for Bree, but Sainsbury's at this point know when they're going to use it if it comes, and I'm not convinced on the way. This looks like another win for Season. Oh, he gets barely hit at the end. Oh, in the ring again. Wait. Valor's dead, though. Is this red going to hit? No. Oh, my God. He got hit on the line.
But it doesn't
Was
matter.
that Ryan or Reese in third? It was. It was a top 4-6 for Sainsbury's.
They
No
were
shock
falling
is coming
down.
at all. I'm
speechless.
I'm surprised
starstruck.
at the way that this is going right now. I mean, this was a demolition an hour and a half ago by Bree. It just looked like standard business, and this not only is looking not great for them, this is starting to look dire for them, actually. Like, I don't see the identity right now. I don't see them commanding the front. I don't see them landing the hits. It looks like they're asking for shock to come, and nobody's answering the call.
I just want to quickly say, Sainsbury's up 64 at the moment. They were nowhere near this close in the last match, and with how close it was, they were only up at most by 40.
I will say there is still a pressure on Sainsbury's right now. They have not won this yet. They need to ensure that this one is locked down, because, again, if you give them an inch of momentum, I remember in season 21, before the 4-peat even happened, Bree did not win the finals that season, but they were down like 80 after 3 races in game 3. And they lost the war by 10. And a matter of fact, it was anybody's game going into race 12. And yes, they lost, but they have confidence that they are better than anybody in this game. And if you let them believe again, they will come storming back. The way to win this is to make it impossible. And I mean, like, right now.
You give Bree an inch and they make it a mile, honestly. Yeah. It's phenomenal to see, as Berlin Byways, the shock pretty much won one at the moment. Alright, listen, the man's already poor enough as it is.
The little things that, I mean, I don't mind it though. Like, the little things that can little things can get into opponents' heads, low-key. I'm not saying that is, it's just like, things like that can trigger people and make them play worse, low-key. They've got to watch out right now if Bree... Okay, I think Starlo probably should have dropped that set. Try to get the... Actually, I think Reese was back there regardless, but they might have had a shot of getting multiple people back right now, but because the season's Bill.
Is Bree top 4 though at the moment?
It appears that they are right now. Shock is in... That looks like a Sainsbury Shock at first glance.
Wow.
This is going to be a Shroom. Yeah, and a red. So they're shrooming up right now. I mean, there's still a lot of Bree up here, but I would imagine that Shock definitely leveled the playing field a little. Oh, this horn
is going to be huge.
Oh, that blew the bomb up. Oh, this red's going to be huge for them. Oh, and that is an awful place to get hit. It is top 3 for Bree right now. This is the race they need. Ryan is on the way up. Triss is up as well. I mean, if they green Valor out, that would be a massive blow to Bree's chances. They can maybe split path red here, but he still has defense. He'll be... Oh, he backed it. Is that going to hit? I think it is.
It does.
Oh, and they're all coming up. They're 2 through 4 right now. If he can land his head on Zalo. Liam's up here too. Oh, the bomb on the line! Oh. Did LMDS sneak it? Okay, he did not. He got 4th, but it's still a big race.
That's huge. That's huge for Sainsbury's. Even though not getting first place, the bottom 3 from Bree, it adds so much.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about Starlo there. That gave me some flashbacks to the season 11 finals with the bomb on the line on Goldmine, which we might actually see if they're thinking about it right now. I know there's they have so many Okay, there it is. I'm smart. Look at me. Just kidding. Hey, I'm just saying Goldmine's not super common. That was a good call for me right there. It's like, hey, they're behind first. It is a drafting track. I know they're very confident on it. We're deep into game 3. I wasn't sure if they were going to remember it, but...
Up 76.
I mean...
This is the most dominant Sainsbury's has been in this entire set of 3.
Yeah. I mean, they're not dropping races. And if they are, it's like 2 points on, like, Cheeseland.
Yeah, 2 points on Cheeseland, 6 points on Dry Desert.
That back bomb did kind of remind me of the end of season 11 finals right there, but... Because so many people came up for Sainsbury's right there. And it didn't look great initially, but... It looked very reminiscent of Bree in Game 1, just delivering the hits that just deconstruct the races that the other team kind of has been controlling right now. And then you add the Shock timed decently well. I mean, season looked dead in the water. when that red hit, right? Like
But
that was not ideal.
But the Sainsbury's players were just able to come off, pick up the Bree players one by one, and just get season back up, fighting for a top spot.
Oh, good trail, right there for a start. That was a good green attempt. I know it hit him, but it's like take advantage of the invincibility, right?
No, for sure, yeah.
I will say though, like, it is kind of like a backbreaker, right? Like usually when you think of like Starlo back bombing on the line, right? You're like, oh man, like what else do they need, right? Because they're just always in such a dominant position. But it's like, no, like that just got LMDS 4th instead of 5th, and that was like the only impact. But regardless, I mean, this is what Bree needs right here. Just establish the front again, have them scrambling for shock. It's very likely too little too late, but if there is a team that can cover the gap, it's them. But this is why it's so hard, because you need shockless races when you're up front. And
it's going to be interesting to know. We saw a white Yoshi dodge up high. It's going to be a case of whether it looks to be Liam, considering as the blue was just
this
thrown.
Ghost is going to be held, I think. Might be a dodge in first if it is Liam up front after the shock. Actually, no. Or maybe it was Thomas, I don't know. No, it was Liam. I guess he just didn't have anything. This is kind of unfortunate spacing for season. He can't really... Ooh, okay. I don't know if he actually hit him because there was no green trail. I mean, if you're season, you just need to get this guy out. Like, you don't have to really worry about LMDS. I mean, they can't win this war without big races, right?
No, for sure. Ryan on the bottom passing too.
Coming back here, maybe? No? Okay, we're going for first right now. I guess oh, they got him out.
I was gonna say they just dispensed of him.
This could be a red chain right here. Gonna have to watch out. The red might hit those greens.
He's given first unless those green shells pull off a miracle. Nope, clashing into each other.
Kind of a miracle, low key. No smart bounce. That's the first time that's ever happened in this game.
Very true.
Could potentially be bottom two, but I think it's Thomas. Yeah. So it's 2, 3, 5. 6. I mean, you can't win wars like this if you're Bree right now. That's a great race for Sainsbury's regardless. So
2, 3, 5, 6, still very dominant. Looks to be just the slightest winning race for Bree, but even still, you need to pick up the pace at this point of the war. That's a neutral race. Neutral races aren't going to cut it anymore. You need the big points.
Thing is, it was a tie still.
Exactly.
Tie goes to the leader. That's the issue. So, still going to be 76-point game. But got 5 left for Bree to make some magic happen. I mean, you're looking at 17.6 or a race right now. I mean, that's hefty. You got it's got to be 50-point races from here on out, right?
Exactly. You just
get to that 250 margin, be at 499 or so, maybe a little bit less than that.
I'm just surprised that Thomas is trying to push the Tokyo pick. As much as it might be a gambit, they might have to shoot for.
Well, the other thing also is this is just another track that Sainsbury's practiced at, and I don't know if Piranha Plant Cove is. I mean, this is the summary of the war, or like this is the story of the war, in my opinion, is that they got Bree to game 3, and their track picks look much more fleshed out. They are not missing Moonview right now. They're not missing Waluigi Pinball.
Not missing Wildwoods.
They haven't even picked Daisy Circuit.
They don't need it.
It's still there. It's still there. They still have Goldmine. They still have Sunshine Airport. They didn't have Daisy Cruiser available to them after that first game. And they're still just seemingly confidently picking stuff and largely winning these races on it. And Bree's got a lot of really good tracks. I mean, Thomas is in first. He's practiced everywhere. Like he's like one of those players that you're just going to see like on like NIDA top 10s or like just regular top 10s for like every track, it feels like.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, like, they're playing like guys that can run everywhere. But they're still making it work.
The bomb.
Did that hit? That actually hit.
That did actually hit. Season in 1.
Season, you aren't supposed to do that to Thomas. Have you not watched the last like 10 MKU finals? Like he is the one that does that to other people. All right, interesting. Okay, they gotta chill out right now. You've not won this set yet now. Oh my god,
Hey,
I got
listen,
another
let
bomb.
him
He
cook.
is just chucking stuff. And
It's working. It's surprisingly working.
well, it's easier for stuff to work when shrooms pop out right in front of your face right now. That looks like a neutral shock. I mean,
Had to be.
I see somebody's carrying a star up here. It is Reese. I mean, it looks potentially like Sainsbury's shock right there. Recognizing Sinzen first, they have the advantage. Make them panic and go for shock is kind of the memo for them right now. I'd be shrooming up. Maybe a little too late, but
Even still, top 2-5 is still a fine position to be in.
I mean,
All the
Bree-
play around you.
Bree can't pull anything though. The blue is huge for them actually. This is like the way that they can actually get something meaningful out of this race, especially taking season out right now.
You forget the star on first, though.
There was a
They
star
were-
first. So answers after answers for Sainsbury's right now. Whether it be track, situation, holding items, getting the hits. This is really stunning if you've followed the scene for any point in time in the last few years. But with that
The
said,
bottom three at the
three.
moment for Sainsbury's might be a top 2 though to clutch it
Cinda,
out.
Cinda was back here also, but if they get top 2, like 1-3, I mean, it's not great for them, but you can swallow it. You also got a biker in first too, so comes with what that entails also. I know Bangkok is a good bike track, but I think that's one that Bree likes. I mean, Tokyo Blur could be on the board even with all of them in the bottom spots right now.
Oh my god, you called it again.
I mean, I've watched these players all play each other a bunch of times. So, I mean, the thought is you got some bikers up front, right?
No, for sure.
Strong for them early on. And you have players that are going to have heavy coins in the back.
Just to track the benefits.
Yeah. So that race was not on pace for Bree. It certainly doesn't hurt, but you're now looking at. I messed up the math on the last one. You're looking at a little bit over 16 a race now, 16 and a half. Is your average race. Why did I say 18 last time? That would have been 90. Yeah, the pace is always closer to 16. My apologies.
Listen, I let you run the numbers. You're the expert. I just look at what the funny bot tells us.
Well, the math sometimes isn't mathing. I'll just say that. Anyway,
That's fair.
though, going into the last GP, Sainsbury's is on the brink of their first MKU title, and they have a chance to do it in dominating fashion. But there's a part of me that's hoping that the match gets a little bit tighter, so we have some more end of game 2 kind of magic right now.
I don't know.
You
I
always
feel
want to
like
see the dramatic ending, right?
no, for sure. But even still, I think the blowout, if Sainsbury's are able to do it, will just be a statement.
It would. The question is Bree going to just go down like this? I mean, the 5-peat is still on the line, and that is something that they will never get back if they lose this match. Most
No,
likely in this
exactly.
game.
Especially now
you have-
knowing that 8 Deluxe is on the brink of.
If you lose this set, the earliest that you can 5-peat again is season 31, and I don't think that's going to be playing out. With that said, I mean, this is the script, right? You got people up front. LMDS just died, which is really bad on a bike track like this one, but you still got control. But Season also doing a good job with the coin management right now. Gonna have to.
It's almost bottom 5 for Sainsbury's.
I think Season, I mean, if you were to pull a star, right? It looks like they're stopping for shock. I mean, if they pull a shock here on Moo, the track that's notorious for there not being shocks, and like they can get anything out of it, that would be such a backbreaker for Bree. I can't believe you just got out of that. Blue is coming. I feel like they've got to have like a horn or something up there, right?
Surely.
Ooh, that was a great back attempt. Oh, it's going to land.
The horn and flyers.
Being a little over. Actually, no, that was maybe Valor's. This is solid for Bree right now. I mean, they need more people up front. Bottom 3 is not going to be enough. But, I mean, I think Senda might have gotten third there. It is a bottom 4, I believe. So, not dead yet. Not dead yet.
Bottom 4 is huge.
It is huge, and that race is on pace. That is on pace. So, still some work to do. They're going to need to repeat that probably at least 2 more times.
Bree can get back in this with a top 6 as the differential going into the last 3 races is.
Yeah, I mean,
only
if you can
45.
get the top 6, then it's like that is the nightmare scenario for Sainsbury's. That is like the thing that is crushing, right? You have such control in this match. to be put in a situation potentially like where you're suddenly tied with 2 to go. Like I know like the match is still right there, but that is like such a mental hurdle
Mm-hmm.
to overcome that I don't know, like that can break teams. Just like even being faced with it, and like it feels like you need like a day to reflect on that situation if it were to happen to be like actually properly prepare for it. But with that said, I mean, it hasn't happened yet.
Not yet.
So
Yet.
we'll see what happens. This is probably a quality pick for Bree, in my opinion, having top spots, facing off against 2 bikers. That said, I mean, Cinda in third might be a little bit of a problem. He is one of the best players in the world on this track, very known for it. So it's kind of a good counter to have in Bree's, sleeve, or not Bree, in Sainsbury's sleeve.
It's the case of whether Sainsbury's get deposed of Cinder in the top or not, but
Yeah.
no, he's holding it down.
Yeah, they don't pick it, but it's not like a complete Armageddon situation for them.
No, absolutely not.
That said, following him will be important. I think. I don't see exactly where. I think he's still holding it on up front, but there's a lot of Bree up there right now. Sainsbury's have got to be careful. I mean, if they lose their momentum, that is how this war becomes a loss, and it felt unthinkable before that Moo Moo Meadows race. But again, it's not over until it's over.
No,
And
for sure.
Bree, I mean, they might just be going into effort mode, right?
Mhm.
Run 5 if we can, but they have 2 in the back right now, so they're gonna have to do a little bit more than that. But I mean, if they can get some top spots, then maybe it changes everything, right? But right now,
Yeah,
as we
sure.
speak, they're triple odds. Could be decent for them though, because of the shroom pulls. But Ryan's gonna probably ensure he stays back here, especially since this is a track where he doesn't have as much running power as he ordinarily does.
Also,
It
just
is,
him being able to dodge would be powerful if Bree were to pull the
Yeah.
shot, or Sainsbury's for that matter.
Yeah, they're okay. Ryan has the bill, so like I can kind of see it here, but Season's gonna need to pull a dodge. Bill's gonna have to come out like now to kind of walk around. Okay, Cinder was in the back. Blue is coming out right now. It is Liam in second, by the way, with Thomas back here. So this might be Liam stealing first if they don't have a horn right now. And even if they did have it, oh, they had a bomb. That's like that is actually the answer, I feel like. But still, I mean, it looks like he's up there. It
Baylor,
looks like 2-4.
it's just a
maybe?
position glitch though. Baylor only going from first to third. Bree still holding first.
Yeah, 2-4-5. I mean, it's not great. It's not terrible for Sainsbury's. I mean, that's kind of like a race that like is annoying for both teams, if I'm being honest, because it's like, it kind of feels like we're losing momentum a little bit for Sainsbury's. But if you're Bree, it's like, oh, that's just not what we needed it to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, we were behind, right? Because race 11 is starting quite early, and it is Goldmon, presumably a Sainsbury's pick right now. Don't know
Well,
what the
drafting
updated
odds has to
score
be.
is yet. Looks like it's going to be
It's-
393, so it's going to be a 34-point margin. This could be the last race if Sainsbury's are able to pull it out, so it is game point in a sense, but they're still going to have to work for it right now. And it looks like early signs are showing some favorability to them, and that is a bad hit actually for Season. I think he had a chance to get in first, but they are overloading the top spots right now with shrooms and everything. Bree's not
They-
going to go down yet.
They have to. Any
There goes
sign of
Cinda.
winning race for Sainsbury's is detrimental at
This
the
is
moment.
suddenly good. This is suddenly good for Bree with top 2 in the trails. Oh, that fires a really
Um,
good pull. He got both. I think I would have shroomed out of there, but he's holding on to it right now. I mean, he's got to watch out for the red. I mean,
Mincemeat out of them.
it's good. It's good to have this room now, especially if teammates are able to take over in second. And I think that might have actually happened. So the patience is rewarded right there. I was scared,
Yeah,
and there's a
good
horn in
job.
pocket, and all eyes are going to be focused on the back now. I mean, it's top 2. I mean, Bree, what they did in game 1 was win races in situations like this. And they are suddenly knocking on Season's door right now. Ryan is out, and that is what they need right now, especially if there's a blue. Season can no longer block it.
There just seemed to be a lot of Bree behind him as well. The support that he once had.
This might be a back situation coming up right here. Triss is in third, I believe, now. Ryan or Reese is up there, too. Looks like we're just going to focus on driving from Season's vantage point. Bree's just getting hit in the mid-pack a ton. I feel like they might need a shocker, else this might just be the end of the dream for them.
The 1-3 still proving to be very good. It does seem to be a lot of people in the back.
He's out. This is top 4. This could be it. Right now, they got Zawo out. Ghost is in play. The shock needs to happen now. I mean, I'm going left if I'm Season. There he goes. Just to negate disaster, potentially. And this might be it. Blue is out, but it looks like it might be too late. This is top 1, top 2, top 3. It is a SAINSBURY'S MKU win, and they've done it. They've taken down the Titan Bree. It's a top 4. Wow. Now, what a statement.
They've dubbed themselves the Titan Slayers. There's nothing more to say. SAINSBURY'S 60 points.
This has got to be like one of the weirdest finals I think I've ever seen, right? I mean, I'll say we're just a repick right now. Going big blue to celebrate. Skycarn to celebrate. I mean, they got destroyed in game 1. Like, it felt like hopeless almost for them after game 1. Like,
SAINSBURY'S game 2, full on the pedal, full strength, full everything, nothing but gas. Nothing but gas. Absolutely insane work from SAINSBURY'S, just dominant performance throughout. Stopping the 5P, stopping history being made, making history of their own.
I guess shout out to Triss right now. He's never experienced a finals loss, I believe. I think this is the first time he's ever played in it. I know he's had a few semifinals appearances in MKU, but stepped in, ready to go, and I guess they aren't going to have to worry about him not being available game 1 now, too. And, you know, the thing about this is, like, it sucks that there had to be a reschedule, right? There's no way around that. But the fact that Bree, like, still won game 1, like, after they were, like, kind of, like, demolishing them, right? Like, with all the DC issues and all that, is they still held on and, like, had firm control of that game. Like, it's hard, I guess, to, like, kind of, like, see the reschedule as an issue in a sense, because it seems like they didn't, like, it seems like SAINSBURY'S was, like, the team that didn't have, like, the lineup they were expecting to, unless there's, like, a secret sub plan or something like that. But honestly, they still, like, held, like, they didn't lose that game that was, like, stopped in the middle. Like, they still had the control and all that, so for SAINSBURY'S to come back, like, just props to them.
Absolutely.
First season, first MKU win.
Just really just came down to not just a group of players who played before, but just a group of friends. They've been with each other for so long. The likes of the people who played in ZE, the people who played in HD, them playing in Lounge together pretty much all the time. It's just a strong, tight-knit community of those 9 players on roster. Just
it does kind of make sense, like, when you think about it, right? It's like Bree has been such, I mean, they've had an amazing run, and, you know, they can still likely, like, with a new season and all that, tie that WF record. But what felt like a foregone conclusion now, it's like, well, they might have to deal with this again. And I mean, we'll see what happens. But the way to, I guess, beat the Titans and stuff, Season, what are we, or is he lap trolling? Come on, man, just take the win with grace, Season. What are we doing here? Season, we're stuck on your point of view. You were the okay.
I don't think he knows. I don't think he knows.
Well, the thing is, it's just like, to beat the Titans, to be oh, get sniped. To beat the Titans, though, it's kind of like, it was a mixture of multiple teams in the past, right? Like, they banded together. I mean, I guess how it was right now, it was difficult to overcome Bree, where, you know, so many of the top French players were just all on the same team for so long. But I guess strength in numbers, in a sense, right? Taking a lot of the strongest players from a lot of other teams and bringing them together, including even Reese, who was on Bree. Well, I mean, Reese has got the 5-peat going on, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Like, with this win also. Big let's go coming out for Season right now, and it is officially official. Another top 3 in the books, and congratulations to Sainsbury's for one of the bigger turnarounds I've ever seen in a series before.
From going to an absolute blowout in match 1, probably some of the tightest gameplay I've seen in match 2, to utter domination in match 3.
I mean, it felt like we were watching the team. It felt like we were watching Bree from Game 1 and Sainsbury's in Game 3 right there. It almost felt like mirror images in a lot of ways, and like how they were like making losing races just winning races, like what should have been losing races. And again, that's how you win these matches. I mean, we saw shocks from both teams. Sometimes they felt, I mean, really the shock only feels like such a big blow when it's your only way that you're able to win, right? Like
Yep.
if it's accompanied with good running, how it is, I mean, it feels like overkill, but like just the domination up front is like what makes so many of those shocks possible, right? Like we saw on race 24, Singapore Speedway, an early shock that just canceled all potential bagging momentum. It just favors the front. Sometimes these shocks are used to make the runners' lives easier. And I think that's something that we don't always think about when we think about an item that is just so, it brings the comeback potential to life at times also. But we don't stop to think about like how it can even impact matches or just supplement, runners and all that kind of stuff. And I think we saw that in Bree's domination in Game 1. It just felt like back-breaking blow after back-breaking blow to Sainsbury's, but they responded really strongly. And the surprise of the day, perhaps, was just how many tracks they seemingly had left in Game 3, even after in Game 1. It seemed like a lot of their specialties were just blown. Like, they won this tournament without, Daisy Cruiser, Daisy Circuit, Pinball, Moon, like all. We Rainbow Road, I think, is another track that they like. I didn't even think about that all day. Like, they just won an MKU finals with like outplaying the tracks that like, they've kind of become known for. They won more. Added Toe Circuit to it too. If you're a big Liam fan, he didn't need Toad Circuit to win. Like Liam was on Toad at the end of Game 1, and we're sitting here a little bit more than 2 hours later with him and the rest of his teammates winning the title. It's crazy to think about.
All I can say is absolute cinema. That felt like a movie to watch. The highs, the lows, the ups, the downs, the heartbreak, the triumphs.
Well, I do think again you gotta credit Bree. They've had a historic run.
No, absolutely.
Dynasty's not. The dynasty's not over until you lose 2 in a row. So they've still won 4 of the last 5. They have been a defining part of the game's history, especially in the end game. And really, without that level of domination, like finals like this, they're just they become so much more surprising when you kind of watch a favorite lose, and that's what kind of is the point of competition sometimes, just to expect the unexpected. And sometimes we fall into the routine, right, of just expecting stuff to happen, but then it just goes a completely different direction when you least expect it.
To me, D1 finals are never going to be as hype without a team like Bree, who are just such a dominant force, such a reckoning across.
Kind of like the Golden State Warriors back in the day, right?
Exactly. You want to see who can take them down, who can dismantle them, who can pick them off piece by piece, and we've seen Sainsbury's do that today. Bree have just been dominant for so long.
It is a testament to what they've been really able to accomplish over the last few seasons. These runs don't just happen. I think we have some upcoming events to show. Perhaps you've seen it already. Obviously, you want to shout some of this stuff out.
Yeah, just a reminder.
March Madness next week.
It's going to be a good one. 2v2
We're getting ahead of the basketball tournament. I guess the Steph Curry and Warriors analogies reminded us all that we have basketball-themed bracket tournament with no basketball, actually. But it's 64-team bracket, so that's cool. 2v2, not Mogi. So do that.
Strong one is the actual 2v2 as well. It's not like Lounge where you're in a room with 12 players. It's just the 4 of you duking it out.
Yeah, you get to play more of your tracks too. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Paradigm, right?
Recently just had its tournament team cap up from 96 to 128, I believe. It was something along the lines of that.
So get in there. You have more
Same
chances now.
track bans as well. Obviously, no. Pretty similar to the fact that we had no repicks across the set. Teams able to ban tracks beforehand. Very interesting tournament. Makes you think a lot of strategy, even going into before the matches. Very, very insane.
Also, a new FFA series, perhaps looking to be a celebration of the series history now that we have so many tracks from every retro game before that. You know, I mean, we can just run entire tournaments of city tracks if we want to at this point. So we'll see what happens with that. But, you know, it's kind of looking like that might be the theme here. So, unannounced new FFA series. We'll see what's in store for us sooner rather than later. So, that's going to wrap up the upcoming events for now. But, again, thanks for hanging out with us today, watching really exciting finals. I mean, one of those series that you'll likely remember for a while just because of the unexpected nature and all of that. So, congratulations to Sainsbury's for pulling it out. Really cool story, and proud of all their players. And again, great run to Bree also to, you know, have sustained excellence for as long as they have.
Huge congratulations to both teams as well, just for making it this far, putting their talents on display and allowing us to do casts like this that are going to be memorable to us, not only just as casters, hosts, but also as audience members as well. We're going to remember this for a long, long time.
I think with that, probably time to wrap up the stream. So again, thanks everybody. It's a pleasure to cast with you, Nat. Shout out to Dylan for hosting. And have a good rest of your day, everybody. And we'll see you for the upcoming tournaments. Bye-bye.
Take it easy.